Well, and we welcome everybody to number 38 in what's affectionately called RiNO, or depending how long you've been here, 5 points. Either way, we are hanging out with you at one of the coolest bars in Denver, a place Mike Sanford and myself, Andy Lindahl, have hung out a lot. Matter of fact, Cole Smith is here. He's done a lot of things with us here. This is one of our Thursday night hangouts, and whenever we do a watch party, we did our draft coverage here. Done a lot of stuff here. Done a couple of Avs watch parties, as I remember.
Some Nuggets action, too,
Listen, in the fall, as it gets warmer, and maybe today's not the poster boy for it, although I got to tell you, it's not exactly a bad day after all the stuff we worried about as far as it was going to be windy, it was going to be this, it was going to be that. What a gorgeous January day. And they have got a large patio, a large tee. It's like the greatest backyard going. If you want to get on down to number 38 and join us for a watch party, I know a lot of people are trying to find a way to get someplace fun, join in some energy, get the nervous energy out, and number 38 is the spot. So come join myself, Mike Sanford, and Cole down here. We've got Mark Springer back at the shop as we bring you a little pregame coverage, taking you all the way till 2:30 today. All right, Mike. I always think it's interesting. I don't really know. You wake up the morning of a playoff game. I don't know. I'm trying to remember the last team. I guess it would have been the 2013 Broncos that I covered, where I just showed up and I felt good about the team. I felt like they should win any game that they play, even going into the Super Bowl that year. I felt like they should win that game, right? All of the 2015 playoff run, I think when you went to the stadium, when you turned on the TV, when you went and watched the game, wherever you watched the game, nobody was quite sure what they were going to get. And I think that's going to be what this whole year, this whole playoff run is probably going to be like. Because, again, if the offense shows up today, then I think they got a real shot. The defense has to show up no matter what, because that's what got you here. And I believe they will. But, some of the numbers have said the defense hasn't quite been what it was start of the year, the last few games. How do you feel, just your gut feeling heading into today as far as what you think we're about to witness here in a couple hours?
Well, it's going to be interesting. I mean, first and foremost, anybody that was concerned about weather impacting this game, it is a Chamber of Commerce day in Denver, Colorado. I think we have gotten so accustomed to 61 degrees on Christmas Day and New Year's Day in the past 3 months that even 40-some-odd degrees and perfectly sunny. I've coached and played in weather in the Rocky Mountain region. I played at Boise State. These are the days as a player, especially as a quarterback, you dream about in December, January football. It's gorgeous. I mean, this is as good as it gets. Bo Nix is going to love the way the ball feels in his hand. He's going to be excited to get out there. This is not going to be a repeat whatsoever of what we saw against the Raiders in that game that had 25, 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It's a beautiful day to spin the football around, and I think the Denver Broncos are going to be excited to get out there, especially Sean Payton, Bo Nix, to put behind all of this narrative that we are conservative, we're playing not to lose. It's going to look a lot like that game against the Packers where they're going to attack from the beginning, but I think the attack is going to be balanced. It's going to be a run attack, play action, bootleg attack, and it's going to be a lot more freeing of a style of play for Bo Nix today.
All right, I'll be curious to watch to see if that's what comes to fruition. Now, when I think of a guy that loves a good gut feeling, and talking about gut feelings, it is my radio partner in the afternoon, Nate Krekman. It's almost like we never get off the radio at this point. Oh, we're having an audio issue, so never mind. I see him standing. He's there. If you want to see Nate's face without him talking, which I know a lot of you prefer, just go to Twitch. Go to Twitch. He's there. He's listening, but he's not talking back just yet. So when we're ready for Nate, we'll get him in here. All right, so I like that you think it's going to feel good in his hand. I do think – I ask you again, what I can't figure out the last couple weeks, quite honestly, why are they so conservative? Bo doesn't love that safety sit back, keep an eye on you, you know what I mean, ready to attack some of your
it's so
tighter
funny.
Window throws, right?
It's so funny because I always thought watching Bo in college that he was really good against quarters coverage. Just base cover 4, like you're saying, where the safeties and the corners have the ability to plant and drive on the football. The thing about the NFL, man, and Vic Fangio is the evil scientist that opened up this quarters coverage behind a bunch of crazy blitz looks and simulated pressures. That's where I think Bo has been bogged down at times at the line of scrimmage. is getting the pre-snap look right, getting into the right protection, getting into the right run, where at times that's where I think Bo's his processor is almost it's almost done by the time he gets to the snap. Now on the flip side, Bo's been really good against man coverage. This defense that it's really a Sean McDermott defense. I know he's got a D coordinator, but this is something that it's a good mixture of zone and man. It's not quite the Fangio system. I don't think Bo Nix is going to be bogged down at the line of scrimmage pre-snap, and that's part of the reason why some of the games where Bo has struggled has been against some of those, I'd call them like mad scientist defensive coordinator looks with zone coverage behind it.
Well, that's good to hear. I know Dan Orlovsky said he'd be shocked if we see more than 7 snaps of man coverage out of Buffalo when he was talking about this game earlier this week.
Yeah.
All right, so what is going to be the key to them getting – look, we're all so hyper and locked in on Bo, and I get it. That's quarterback. That's what comes with the position. It's why you're going to get a nice fat paycheck at some point likely in your career. It's just what it is what it is. But that being said, do the receivers need to step up? Have we been too focused on Bo? Like, how much is some of the receiving core? And, I mean, again, we see Elijah Moore called up for this game. Again, he was with Buffalo. Some were speculating maybe this is a call-up to reward him for – going under the old interrogation lights that they like to do, right? As they tried to find out any and everything they could about things this week. Could Elijah Moore be a factor in this game, or is that just something where it's going to be the nice little story we don't even see him out there? I mean, the receiving core does need to help Bo out today. No drops. No drops if you get open. No drops if he gets it to you. They've got to have one of their better games of the year too, don't they?
Yeah, the Elijah Moore story is interesting to me in the sense that he was a Buffalo Bill this season on the active roster and had 9 catches for over 100 yards through November. So Sean Payton saw something, George Payton saw something in that player that at least might take some seasoning to get to the point. I wouldn't be surprised to see 1 or 2 targets or attempts to a guy like Elijah Moore. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Obviously the Caleb Loner discussion where I thought it was purely special teams. Maybe to mess with Matt Prater, have a 6'7.5" tight end as a field goal block guy, and even play a little bit of that pregame, the back and forth that Sean Payton sometimes likes to play. But I actually, hearing from Leggy, Caleb Loner's another guy that might be utilized somehow, some way in red zone packaging. And Sean wants to use his personnel groupings. He wants to change them up, and now Sean has 2 more interesting toys to potentially play with that did get that seasoning in his scheme since, for Caleb, since training camp. Didn't have a fast start as a training camp went on, but, it's certainly for Elijah Moore potentially is a guy that can contribute now that he's been in the franchise and in the offensive system for 2-3 months.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Again, I'm not all the way there where I guess I'm ready to believe Caleb Loner is going to somehow – wouldn't that be great? It'd be funny if he was – I don't know, it'd be great or funny. It'd probably be both if you win the game. But if you were to come out and all of a sudden be like the red zone story of the day and where did Denver get this and where's this been all year and blah, 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 do you think – are we ever going to see Sean get the tight ends involved? Because it's funny, as you and Nate and I talked yesterday on our show, we talked about how Dalton Kincaid and help me out, who's the other one?
Knox. Is it Dawson Knox?
Dawson Knox, and I think it's Dalton Kincaid, right? Look, these are guys that could be a problem.
They got the most millennial, post-millennial Caucasian names on planet Earth.
Not a lot of Andrews anymore, but a couple of Daltons and a Dawson.
Not a lot of Mikes out there, are there?
Nah, we're a dying breed. Seriously, do you think we're going to start to see the evolution in the tight end of this offense at all? Why do you think that? Like again, they've got. We had the Joker allegedly in Evan Ingram, and even that's been pretty underwhelming this
Joke's
year.
on you, Andy.
The joke was on. Apparently,
joke was on.
Yeah. Turns out it's just a guy that catches passes from the tight end. It turns out Shannon Sharp was the original Joker.
It turns out that Evan Ingram actually has just been a checkdown merchant.
Yeah.
That's where some of his production has come, and it's not been bad. I've actually seen a slow trickle in the right direction for Evan Ingram in this offense.
Slow trickle, though, yeah. But that was not what I was looking for.
No.
Could today be a day with the defense you're describing?
Millfield open. That's
too
high
don't
structures.
They go there? Is that a Bo thing?
I think they do. Like I'd say Bo's last wow throw was that. Remember that dig throw that he made? It was a touchdown to Troy Franklin, and I thought it was the coronation moment that Bo has the physical attributes to do anything and everything from an arm talent standpoint required of you in the National Football League. And he's had various moments like that. I think the long touchdown pass a year ago to, was that Marvin Mims right down the middle that he threw from his own end zone? I can't
right over in the Cleveland game.
Cleveland, yeah.
Right over, I can't remember the player,
But that dig throw, Bo's comfortable throwing there. But I think there are games where Sean Payton doesn't call those types of plays because guess what can happen across the middle? The ball can get tipped, and as Trevor Lawrence learned in the very last play for him, really of his season for the Jaguars, is tip balls, they end up becoming picked balls. And that's what I think Sean Payton and Bo Nix have been avoiding because they knew they didn't have to score 28 points to beat the Chris Oladokun Kansas City Chiefs. They didn't need to score 28 points to beat Trey Lance, who literally couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. So for me, it's been Sean Payton, Bo Nix have, to this point, played the game required of them to have the number one seed in the AFC. And you know what? We should be celebrating that. And the question now remains, will they be able to play the game required of them offensively against the Buffalo Bills team that's not going to score? Most likely, Buffalo's not scoring 13. I'm just going to give that as a little possible FYI there for everybody at home.
Yeah, if you want to jump in, 303-504-0925. We'll certainly be taking a look at the text line today. All right. How do you think they come out? Do you think they come out aggressive, showing an aggressive? Because you've talked about it. They played the game they've had to, and that's fine. We have no proof to the other side that they haven't, that there was other things planned and he just shut it down or anything like that, that he was calling aggressive plays and then he'd go that way. But my question to you is, do you think he comes out aggressive? Let's say they get the ball first. What does that drive look like? Does it look like last year where you're trying to punch at him with a 50-yard pass? Do you think he tries to do you think he goes on one of those 10-play scripted drives in a perfect world? Or what do you think?
I want that.
Philosophy?
Yeah, I want that. So the word aggressive sometimes implies it's bombs over Baghdad.
Right.
You're as Al Davis used to say, you see that wall over there? We're going to throw it over that wall. I don't think that's going to be what happens. I think it's going to be the Denver Broncos need to establish the run game. It's going to be interesting to see is it going to be a major combination of Jaleel McLaughlin and R.J. Harvey, or is Sean going to say, you know what? R.J. Harvey was drafted in the second round for a moment like this. Let's get him greased up, and let's get him some early touches in this game. Let's find out what run schemes are working, because the one thing we know about Buffalo, they give up 5.1 yards per carry, but in between the tackles, when you're running like inside zone, duo, and power, those schemes inside the tackles, they're decent against. And with Ed Oliver back, they're pretty good in their interior line. Where they're not great against the run is their edges. Their scheme isn't great edge-wise, so I want to see some pin and pull schemes. R.J. Harvey has speed.
Real quick. Explain that for everybody.
Yeah, so
let's not get too in the weeds.
Sorry.
No, Leggy did it to you. Leggy started it yesterday.
He did. He got me going on this. Okay, so the outside zone scheme made famous in Denver, truly is the scheme that is associated across the football landscape. The Denver Broncos, what are they known for historically? Outside zone, Terrell Davis, 4-step decision.
You get one cut.
Yep. So you have 4 steps, and then you're either taking it straight on that path because you're tight end or potentially tackle. They reached the defensive end, or they didn't effectively, cut off or reach the outside shoulder of the defensive end. Therefore, it leads to that vertical cut that goes north and south, and it feels like a cutback, but really it's just like a cut forward. That's called outside zone, and that's something that R.J. Harvey, frankly, hasn't run great. That is a detailed scheme. That's one that requires a lot of rep. Terrell Davis might not have been the back that he ended up being without that scheme. He was a great fit for that scheme. And not all running backs are. Like we always say, is that guy a good wide zone runner? Is he a good gap scheme runner? Well, what pin and pull is think high school football, like rudimentary old school high school football, and you hear the old toss sweep or just this sweep play. What that typically means that there's a tight end that's down blocking violently, or sometimes a big receiver. Pat Bryant's been used for this down block, and then it ends up being a puller, which is a big fellow. So Garrett Bowles and Mike McGlinchey are now pulling around and looking for a pencil neck.
Which is
looking
why you
for
see like a left tackle on the right side of the play.
Absolutely,
right?
Which is what ends up being fun. And then sometimes it's the guard who's down pulling, they're down blocking. And now here comes Luke Wattenberg, or we'll find out today. I guess is Luke Wattenberg fully up?
I haven't seen anything. We'll look for the who's up.
Either
who's
way,
down,
Alex Forsyth's done a good job. But what I like about that scheme is it's not as feel-based as outside zone. It's not as finite. You know what it is, man? It's athletes in space. Bo Nix can do it. He has done it. That was his big touchdown run in the red zone against the New York Giants. Marvin Mims has done it. He did it last year, and that's how Sean Payton started incorporating Marvin Mims into the handoff run game, was on pin and pull. And then the last guy who's done it really well is R.J. Harvey, because he does have speed. He can be a force out in space. So I think there's great opportunities in the pin and pull scheme because the Buffalo Bills defensively struggle on plays in the run game that hit outside of the offensive tackle or tight end.
All right, I'm looking right now. I don't see anything that we've had inactives announced or anything like that, so we'll have to wait and see. Wattenberg was on IR, right? So I don't think that means that I didn't see him on the practice report today, so I don't think he's available. We'll double-check that as we get closer and closer because, again, that could be a big deal. But, I think Forsyth's been pretty good. We'll have to wait and see. Again, get Ed Oliver back in there, which they've got Ed Oliver back in there. You're probably hoping that Wattenberg does go. All right, we are going to talk to Nate Krekman. We're going to do it via the phone. We're going to take our first time out here live from number 38. Get on down here and join us. Not only are we doing our pregame show, we are going to be here for the game. We got prizes to give away here thanks to Tullamore Dew. Great patio, plenty of space, plenty of TVs. I'll try to quit popping the mic here. It's a little close to my face. I don't know.
We'll get you a little
wider.
I had the problem yesterday.
Speaking of wide zone, I need the wide mic.
No, you just need one of those dampeners.
Yeah, it's a little bit of weight. But
I was a popper yesterday.
We really kind of took away some of your volume when we did that yesterday, I noticed. So anyway, get on down here. Join us at number 38. It's going to be great. Bronco playoff football. This is our pregame coverage on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. And we welcome you back to number 38. I'm Andy Lindahl along with Mike Sanford as we bring you our pregame coverage of the Broncos and the Bills live on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Going to be out here, and then we're going to have the watch party going on. They've already got the big smoker going, so you need to get on out here, get some wings. It smells excellent in here, and it ended up being a really nice day. I'm starting to wonder if all that weather they predicted was actually what showed up yesterday.
I think it's just
Chris. We do not have a lot of wind.
No, I think it's Chris Bianchi making sure that he drives up his engagement online.
Is that what it is?
Trying to get his follows and likes way up. But Crispy, I know you're tailgating right now. I texted with my guy Bianchi this morning. As of last night, he was predicting 20 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts. I'm not seeing it, Chris. Sorry, buddy.
Well, there's still plenty of time to go. I'll tell you what, who has a lot of hot air coming out of his mouth daily? It's our guy Nate Krekman, as he now shows up. And we always love getting a chance to talk to Kreckers. It's like we're doing the K&L show in the midday on the Saturdays. Who knows? Nate, this may be where we end up before it's all said and done. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for us. Maybe it'll be that Saturday noon to 3 slot that we've always coveted. All right, I know you're not a big gut feel guy. Do you feel any different than you did yesterday? Did you read anything else? Did you see anything else that has you feeling any different about the outcome of this game that you thought would be a Bronco win when we last talked?
I guess the weather's going to be okay. I feel a little bit better about the Broncos, right? Like maybe Broncos superfan Chris Bianchi has more in common with his own team than we realize. Not a fraud, but certainly flawed with his forecast.
Wow.
Poor Bianchi. He's probably enjoying a high noon beverage right now. Maybe even a Tullamore doing a brew at the tailgate right now. But he's definitely taking it in the chin.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He's not. I'm sure he's not aware. I don't think he's tuning in. But I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Nate, what's the biggest key for this team to get a win today and us be talking about an AFC championship in a week's time?
Yeah, take care of the football, win the turnover battle, control the clock, all those, the really simple stuff. Like don't do the nonsense stuff. Don't give Josh Allen free possessions and easy points. If the Broncos just play clean football and do the Sean Payton game managing thing, I think they got a great chance to be able to win this game. If they get sloppy with the football and it turns into a shootout, we could be doing the draft show on Monday. So
no, we're not. Stop saying that.
Come on, man. Who's not excited about a 25th pick in the draft or whatever they would have? So yeah, I think as long as the Broncos play a clean brand of Bronco football, they'll be in this game. I think it'll be mostly 50-50 the rest of the way. I think the point spread is just about right. But this team's also comfortable, and they won, 11 of their 14 games playing this way. So that's how it's got to be, and that's how Denver can get a victory. I mean, obviously good mojo earlier today, fighting Illini, home victory over Minnesota. So the blue and orange are already 1-0 today. Sandman's Boise State Broncos, another blue and orange, took down CSU last night at the old Taco Bell Arena. Now the extra mile. So it's been all good for the blue and orange so far this weekend. Broncos will keep it rolling.
Krecker, you've had another night of sleep, probably a good 9-10 hours of sleep to really marinate on this massive bombshell news yesterday of Caleb Lohner and Elijah Moore activated to the playoff roster for the Denver Broncos. Which of those two players is going to have a higher percentage of making an impact on this contest?
It's got to be Caleb Lohner. Actually, the first thing that I said, I'll take everybody kind of inside Krecker world here for a moment. The very first thing I said today was a Caleb Lohner joke. That was how I started my day today, because for whatever reason, my 4-year-old didn't feel like hanging out with everybody. And I think the first thing I said to my wife this morning is like, wow, we got a real Caleb Lohner over there, don't we? And it was a joke that didn't hit at all because nobody in my family knows who Caleb Lohner is. But again, guys, you know, with me, it's not about the big laugh. It's about the right laugh. And I was amused, and I know you guys would have been amused by it. So that's all that matters to me. So therefore, I believe that Caleb Lohner, he's got mojo going into today because that's how I started my day, with a Caleb Lohner joke.
Kreger, you're going to like this. Here at the number 38 down in RiNO, or the old 5 Points neighborhood, as Andy called it. I don't know either. I just know it is somewhere in Denver, Colorado. I know that.
Yeah.
And it's a great place. A lot of people are filing in. Make sure you get here and get your seat. But you'll like another
part of town, by the way. That's a great
area.
Part of town. Yeah.
So had one of the patrons here early, ready to go, had his DraftKings account fired up, and he came up to me and he said, "Hey, Lawner, anytime touchdown, plus 800, book it." Right?
Boom.
That was
Lawner.
And I said, Loner. No, he goes, no, Lawner. No, it's actually Caleb Loner. He's like, he's from Utah. I go, yeah, he was a BYU basketball player, transferred to Utah to play basketball and football. 4 total catches in his college career. Is that right? All 4 of which were red zone touchdowns.
One against the Buffs, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
That's a real Peyton Watson-esque collegiate career to go to the pros, isn't it? That you didn't do anything in college, and yet somebody wanted you bad enough to draft you because just looking at you physically, you're a freak. So I've got to have you. So that's kind of what he was. I tell you what, if he catches a touchdown today, Loner, Mo the Lawner, we can call him whatever he wants to be called if he catches a playoff touchdown in Denver today.
Here's a real important question. Of all the drinking game props that we've had, what are you most excited for the hit today? What's the 100% hit rate of the drinking props that we got in our game yesterday?
Jim Nance hating Tony Romo. Guaranteed it's happening today. Nance's disdain for Romo. Besides that, you can always count on a Bober throw and a good turf it a couple of times from Bo Nix today. So those are the props that I think are almost guaranteed to hit today. We didn't do penalty props yesterday, by the way, and I maybe because I trust this team to play a clean brand of football at home in a playoff game.
By the way, on Twitter, we were informed by one of our people that we already have a Josh Allen Wyoming jersey sighting, so they are already underway with that drinking prop. That one's already hit. So, and I promise in the open we're already going to clear it's wide open in the AFC this year. That'll be also mentioned as well.
Maybe not a penalty, but along the lines of a delay of game scenario. What's the punitive measure in this K&L drinking game for Bo Nix screaming, "Wake up," towards the sideline directed at Sean Payton?
Hurry up.
Get it in, hurry
Something
up.
To the effect
what are we doing?
Quit switching personnel.
What the bleep are we doing?
Yeah, we had sideline squabble, but also, is it technically a sideline squabble if the quarterback is in the huddle looking over at his head coach and telling him to pull his head out of his you-know-what? That feels to me like a different kind of squabble because you know that Sean likes to get his digs in as Bo is walking by, and Bo's trying to go get himself a drink of Gatorade and have a seat next to the heaters, but Sean has to Sean's got to get some kind of snide remark in there, which is somebody that likes to make snide remarks. I do respect.
As long as Bo is facing the sideline, then we know what's going on, and yes, I think it counts. So
then you drink.
Are we in agreement that if Bo Nix goes nuts on Sean Payton, the Broncos win the football game?
Probably. It means he's feeling himself.
Yeah.
He's feeling good.
Yeah.
I like that, Bo.
He knows what he wants. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you need that, Bo. All right, Nate, we're going to let you get back to your Saturday afternoon and more jokes your family won't understand. I'm sure they'll be flying hot and heavy. Who's hot? Who's heavy? And then, we won't be doing the draft show. I can promise you this. I don't care what happens today. Draft show's minimum Thursday. You just keep that in the back of your head.
All right, man. I'll have. I'm saying, man. I'll have some young tackles out of the SEC that I'm already circling if we need to. Oh, nobody loves a mock draft more than I do. I'm all over it. So, but hey, hopefully we're not doing that show on Monday.
Nah, I don't think we will.
Hey, Nate,
I think it'll be okay.
Before you get out of here, I wanted to get a little poll. Bevy of choice for Nate Krekman today for said drinking game.
Tell him we're due.
It's absolutely. It's a do and a brew is the only way that I get down on a drinking game. I mean, you know me, Sandman. It's got to be from the Far East, and it's got to be hoppy. And if we're looking at colors, I'd like it to be of the more dull variety. You know me, my friend. IPAs for days over
East
here,
Coast,
along with
East
my
Coast
Tullamore
IPA.
Dew.
An East Coast IPA guy, nonetheless.
Yeah.
He's going to be hitting the Olympia. He's going to be hitting the Hams. He's going to be hitting the old
water.
style.
It's a Tullamore Dew and a Bud Light Football Friday for Nate Krekman.
Yeah. So there
I'm
it
a
is.
Get
Lord
'em all
in an
in.
old style. That's how I'm doing it today.
Oh,
all right,
that sounds
folks?
Oh,
glorious.
come on. I'm a Lord. Oh, my God. Yeah, if they lose and none of your drinking game props hit, then you got it. You have to drink a Malort on air on Monday, right as
I
we
can do
get
that.
off. Yeah, I'd rather you did.
Yeah.
All right,
Don't
that's
tempt
Nate
me with a good
Krekman.
time.
There's no way you like that. There's no way. I know his dad does. He has told me his dad does. Nate, we'll let you go. Go enjoy your day. We'll have the entire cast and crew and all the thousands that make Altitude Sports Radio go join us throughout the show here. Mark Springer back at the shop. I'm Andy Lindahl along with Mike Sanford as we bring you some pregame coverage. We're taking it all the way up until 2:30 when we get the pomp and circumstance over with and get this divisional round of the playoffs off. Mike, how often did you deal with a bye week as a coach in college? What are your greatest concerns off the old bye week?
Well, I mean, everything's built in acronyms as a coach, of course. And one thing I picked up over the course of 15, 20 years doing it is to actually theme out your bye week.
Okay.
And so BYE, we talked about that our game was against BYE, a real-life team that you're playing against. Not BYU, but BYE. And so it stands for Better Your Execution.
Gotcha.
And if there's an opportunity for the Denver Broncos offensively to better their execution, and frankly, even in the run game on defense, this game might come down to how well do you fit the gaps against this Buffalo Bills defense. The physicality is going to be there. You know it. Buffalo Bills offensively, their line is as big as there is in pro football. You just look at those guys. They're all built like the Incredibles. They're top-heavy movers of people with good athleticism on the bottom half. They're a top 6 NFL offensive line according to Pro Football Focus. But then on the flip side of that, it's like, how is Talanoa Hufanga going to get involved in that run fit? You didn't have him a year ago. And that debacle with James Cook having 23 carries for 120 yards, that's got to be a thing in the past. And so each side of the ball, to me, offensively, Broncos need to throw it and catch it better. They need to protect better, and they got to commit to the run game. There's got to be a good balance. And then the other side of the ball defensively, if you take James Cook out of this football game, we've talked about it time and time again, James Cook is more the key to this team and their success than even Josh Allen. The stat that I keep saying, 100 yards of total all-purpose yards for James Cook, 11-1 when they have hit that mark, 0-4 when they haven't.
Yeah, I do think. All right, how much are you playing Dre Greenlaw? What do you think his linebacker fit's going to look like? You talk about the fits. How about the pairings? I don't want to see a lot of Singleton and Greenlaw out there together. I really just don't. I think they did that a lot earlier in the year. I feel like they're a little bit redundant at the position, and unless you got some old NFC North, NFC even Central, remember that going way, way back where I just know you're coming between the tackles every play. I think Sternad needs to be in there. He needs to be handling one of the tight ends. And I just don't want. I just think you got to be smart about when you. I wouldn't pick any spots, frankly. It's either Singleton or Greenlaw for my money when you're in that run D.
All right, kind of had my my aha moment just now about personnel that Vance Joseph could be employing against his Bills. So we talked about the fear is not the Bills receiver corps. And Khalil Shakir is an admirable boy. He's an admirable Boise State Bronco. I love him. Obviously, he's a great story. Keon Coleman, the second-year pro with physical attributes, but just inconsistent at best. And then, of course, Brandon Cooks is about my age. He's an older player, so don't expect to see Brandon Cooks blow the top off like he would have earlier in his career as an Oregon State Beaver. So the matchup is against these linebackers and James Cook. Why not play 3 linebackers? True 3 linebackers against their 2 and 3 tight end personnel packaging, as opposed to what Vance typically does, which is play a real 3-4 and instead of a nickel, play a Jonah Ellis as that edge player. Why not play Jonah Ellis as that extra edge player, plus 3 actual linebacker body types? Sternad then is freed up to be able to cover either Knox or Kincaid. You can have a drop-down safety, either Talanoa Hufanga or P.J. Locke, be the other potential cover player on a tight end. And now it frees up Dre Greenlaw and Alex Singleton to be real run plug fitters. Guys that can play downhill in the A-gap, and yeah, Luka Evans, you do got to play downhill in this game. And that's exactly what Dre Greenlaw is going to have to do. I think Alex Singleton's the same way. Free those guys up to do what they do best, and that's to be see-ball, get-ball guys against the run game.
So you're basically saying go with the old 4-3 look, not a true 3-4.
A legitimate
legitimate outside 4-3, Mike Shanahan most of his career kind of look.
I think that would be a glorious look.
What are you doing as far as D tackles? Is that where you're going to go ahead and play both DJ Jones and Malcolm Roach?
Yep,
and then
DJ Jones, Malcolm Roach, John Franklin Myers, Zach Allen are all rotational pieces in your interior four. Fresh bodies, thick bodies. And then your edge players, to me, it's like Jonathan Cooper, he's a likely – physical at the point of attack player in the run game. Nick Benito's got to step it up, man.
I don't disagree.
And I want to see Nick Benito not necessarily be the guy that's going to be taking on the tight end and the fullback and all those looks. I want to see him on the open side running run plays down and being that harasser, that athlete that we've seen from guys like Myles Garrett. We've seen from guys like when Max Crosby gets double teamed and gets the chip help, what does he do? We've watched it for the last 4 years, 5 years. He finds a way to become a player of impact with hustle plays, effort plays, using his athleticism to run plays down. And instead of maybe a 7 or 8 yard run, might be a 2 or 3 yard run with a guy like Nick Benito at the legs of James Cook. And James Cook, by the way, only a 190-pound running back, not a 220-pound guy.
All right, I'll tell you what. It looks like Darren McKee, DMac's going to try to join us here pretty quick. We'll get a taste on what's going on. He's at the stadium. He's going to be at the game. So we'll try to check in with him when we get back. I think Alex Ryan Emmy's in the on-deck circle coming up real soon as well. Like I said, we're going to try to talk to everybody up and down the lineup, get their thoughts on what's going on as we bring you pregame coverage in front of the Broncos and the Bills in the divisional playoff round. Of course, Denver, the number 1 seed. This will be their first action. Bills beat the Jaguars to move on to this round a week ago, and this is the first game. Of course, we've got San Francisco and Seattle tonight, and 2 more happening tomorrow. We'll be back to number 38 after this here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. And we welcome you back to number 38. Andy Lindahl, Mike Sanford hanging out with you for some pregame coverage here in front of the Broncos' first playoff tilt of the season against the Buffalo Bills. And a man that knows a little bit about the city of Buffalo and the team because he spent some time there early in his radio career is our Darren McKee, more affectionately known as DMac. All right, DMac, first and foremost, what are you expecting today? I know we had a quick conversation, but I know I feel like you've gone a little bit back and forth as to what you think you expect. You didn't love the match at the beginning of the week. Feel like you felt better about it as the week went along. What's your expectation of today's first playoff action for the Broncos?
Well, I expect the Broncos to win, and I did feel icky about it in the beginning of the week because of, well, are the Bills this team of destiny? Is it their time? But the injury factor, I don't think you can escape. And I think at the end of the day, the Broncos do a great job wearing down teams. I'll tell you this, it is brilliantly sunny out here, but it is cold. And the sun is fine, but in the shade, holy cow, it gets your attention. It'll be the coldest game the Broncos have played at home this whole year for sure, 100%.
DMac, are you getting soft on us?
I'm not soft.
I thought you moved here from the Northeast and you lived in Buffalo for some years. I mean, it's a Chamber of Commerce day outside in Denver. I was up this morning at 8:45 in downtown, and it was about as nice as it gets. I think it's a great day to pitch and catch, man. Are you already building in excuses for why the ball isn't coming out of your boy Bo Nix's hands? What are we doing here?
I think in the beginning of the game, the swirling winds will be a factor. I'm just giving you things to look out for. No, it's gorgeous if you're in the sun, and if you're in the shade, it's going to be a little nasty. That's all. I mean, it's football weather in January. Nobody's afraid of it. But the Broncos have played in some extraordinary weather. I don't think it's bad by any stretch. I just think it's a bit of a factor. Also, the atmosphere out here is freaking awesome. You can tell it's a little bit different. You really can. And that's amazing, man. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Just a quick follow-up, because we have like virtually no wind over here, number 38, a place you're very familiar with. You've done plenty of watch parties here. Is it swirling over by the stadium at all?
It's sort of. It's hard to tell because it's pretty calm right now, but it kind of gusts up. So it's like nothing,
Gotcha.
nothing, and then it's just like whoosh. So it's hard to predict like when that's going to happen and when it's not. It's going to be one of those kind of days. But lots of hey, I'll tell you this about Bills fans, though. You know, as big of a, like, Kurd fans like KC or Packers or Steelers, you got to admit these Bills fans are nice people at least. You know, they're an interesting crew. They're fun.
Oh, we had a bunch of them over at our place that we were at yesterday, and, yeah, they were great. Look, we even had Denver fans going, God, I want to hate them so bad, but I can't. They're actually pretty nice people. And like you said, it's not Chiefs or Raiders fans. There's a lot worse fan bases you could be stuck with. How much pressure do you think is on the Bills, knowing that part of the country as you do? And like I said, started a lot of your radio career there. You knew a lot of those early Super Bowl teams, you and Stouter. How much pressure do you think is on this group to get something done versus the pressure the Broncos face? And what's still a really surprising seed for me in year number two of this rebuild, DMac.
Well, as a Bills fan, you just grow up expecting to be disappointed. And in your life, you just figure my life is a pit of misery with Tuesday night bowling leagues and pierogies and Cheektowaga. And you don't love the Bills. You live for the Bills. I mean, it's not like Broncos fans don't love their team. Of course they do. But it's not like their lives, go up and down completely 100%. It's different. It just defines the culture. There's been this incredible culture of disappointing losses. So a loss here today would actually fit in very well to the Bills' culture of low expectations.
DMac, am I crazy to think that if the Denver Broncos defensively can make the Bills one-dimensional and put it all on Josh Allen's shoulders as a passer, that the Broncos will win this football game?
Absolutely, because that is going to invite contact later and turnovers, and that's what the Broncos need to win in the postseason. If they finish in the minus and give away takeaway, boys, it's probably going to be a bad day. But you're going to be able to get to Josh Allen. He hangs in there in the pocket. He's not going to be one of these scared quarterbacks like they've been facing because they've been playing these JV teams. He'll hang in there, maybe to his own detriment. And we've seen Josh Allen make plenty of mistakes and get hit plenty of times. So, boys, I think that's the secret of this whole deal. You keep it close. You get Bo Nix the availability to run around. I think that's key. And eventually you hit Josh Allen to where he drops the ball. Listen, I know he's a tough dude, but he's got 9,000 injuries. He does. And you can get to him. And I think they will, and I think that'll be the difference in the game.
DMac, on that follow-up, so did you see Kay Adams, I think it was like just a quick little snippet about in games that Josh Allen was hit 6 or more times?
1 and 4.
They were, I think, 1 and 4 on the season, and then essentially 11 and 1 in games where he was hit fewer than 6 times. How many times are the Denver Broncos going to hit Josh Allen, get a flush hit on him?
You know, Sean Payton's talked about this cage rush, that sort of thing. So just like getting flush hits on Allen, 3, I'll give you 3 of them, but you only need 1 to get that ball loose. And you need to just make contact with them to make him make bad decisions. So I'll give you 3 flush hits. It probably happens in the second half, guys. And if I'm predicting this game right, it'll happen with him having the ball and needing to score, and that's how the Broncos actually win the game. And that's what I have happening. The Bills are in a position where Josh Allen can do something heroic, and the Bills get after him and hit him, and he fumbles, and that's it. And that's how the Broncos win this bad boy.
DMac, we appreciate you checking in. We got Raj ready to go. I'll tell you what, before we let you go, because it's one of the themes I want to carry a little bit later on in the show, what's your favorite Bronco playoff moment that you've been here for?
Winning the Super Bowl is my favorite one. I mean, it's Super Bowl 50 10 years ago. That was the number one. I can't believe this moment has happened. But I'll tell you something else if we want to go to others. Number 2 after that was probably the DT catch with Tebow. I mean, that I cannot even believe I saw that. And number 3 might be here 10 years ago at Empower Field or whatever it was called at the time with Peyton Manning going to the Super Bowl and beating the Patriots and Tom Brady. And nobody thought they could do that either with an injured Peyton Manning. So there you go. That's the top one. But it's hard to top being there when they won the Super Bowl. It really is, guys. And that was 10 years ago, and that's an experience no Bills fan has ever had.
All right, DMac, hopefully you enjoy the day, because if you do, that means we all do, and then we'll have some fun to talk about on Monday. Everybody will watch on my post-game live, and I know you guys got your thing going tonight. Is it tonight or tomorrow that you guys are going to do Altitude After Dark?
I don't even know. We got to ask. Maybe tonight. Sanford?
Okay.
I don't know. That's
everybody watch DMac's Twitter, and he'll give you an alert as to when that's coming. So no matter what. All right, have a good day today, DMac. Thanks for checking in.
DMac, I say we do about 7 shows between now and tomorrow night.
Probably could.
Does that sound good?
Probably could. All right, let's go off to you know what? We've got the whole crew from between the pipes, even though we're between the goalposts here, I guess is what we'll call it now. As Alex Ryan Emmy is here. Boy, this has got to be a much funner show than what you and Mark Springer did last night. I don't know if you were in the same mood as Coach Bednar, but he was not happy after that game.
Bedzie's defense only gave up 1 touchdown. That's not terrible.
They scored a field goal.
Hey, I'm more faulting their offense for scoring less than a field goal.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen. Here's Mike's partner in the morning sprint. He is Alex Ryan Emmy. All right, my opening go-to question. What are you expecting today, Raj? Now that we're here, now that we're 2 hours away, what do you got?
I think it's a 24-21 final for Denver. It comes down to, big nuts Lutz. I think it's a 37-yard field goal, whether it's with time expiring or if it's on the final drive that Bo Nix marches you down the field to take the lead, and there's a little bit of time left for Josh Allen to come down, and the defense tamps it. I think that's what ends up happening. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't know whether or not I believe in DMac's thought process that the pass rush is going to be able to get to Josh Allen consistently with how good that offensive line has been. I know he's injured, but what we've seen most quarterbacks do when you go up against this Broncos defense in order to be successful is what? It's get the ball out as fast as humanly possible. And if Buffalo doesn't do that today, there's been a huge miss in upstate New York.
Raj, you spent some time in New York. Went to Syracuse. What's the general feel right now for the Buffalo Bills fan going into Denver? Just we had a chance to talk with Matthew Beauvais in Western New York on the ABC affiliate. But just as I believe you're the son of a Bills backer mother. Is that right?
Me? No, not at all. There are no Bills There are absolutely no Bills connections in my family. I just went to school with a bunch of Bills fans. Yeah, the thought process up there is nervous excitement from everyone that I've talked to. And that's what it should be, right? Like, you finally have a playoff run where there is no Mahomes, there is no Jackson, there is no Burrow. And ever since 2021, there's only been 2 quarterbacks that Josh Allen has lost to in the playoffs. He's 0-3 against Mahomes. He's 0-1 against Burrow, and those guys don't exist right now. So, yeah, there should be some optimism for the Bills, but the overall better team is Denver here. That's the reason why you're the number 1 seed. You win close games. I think Denver gets it done. I thought it was weird when we talked with Matthew Beauvais yesterday on the show. I've been saying this for weeks. If Buffalo doesn't win the AFC, let alone this game, if they don't win the AFC, if I'm Terry Pegula, I'm firing Sean McDermott. And Matt Beauvais and all the people up in Buffalo have told me there's no way that's happening, even if Denver wins by 40 today, which won't happen.
Yeah, it is interesting because, again, you fall into the same plot up there. They'd have the same trap that basically I think Pittsburgh was kind of dealing with, where you've got to have the fan base energized, and for them even more so because you're opening up a new stadium next year. So you don't want people down on things when that happens. It will be interesting to see if they were to lose today, if we'd have another coaching opening. Although I will say this, guys, that, I mean, come on. The Atlanta Falcons, I think it was it's the Titans interviewed Brian Dable. That tells you what the pool is right now, coaches. Maybe you just need to hang on to your coach. How many? Did
you see Antonio Pierce got an interview?
Yeah.
What are we
doing? This is what I'm talking about. This is why maybe some of you shouldn't have fired your coach. You guys are overreacting a little bit too much. What's your greatest concern and your greatest confidence for the Broncos today there, Raj?
Greatest concern, without a doubt, is if James Cook goes off for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. I've spoken about it ad nauseum over the past couple of days. There were 4 separate games this year in which James Cook was held underneath 100 total yards receiving and rushing. In all 4 of those games, the Buffalo Bills were not victorious. The one anomaly was last weekend against Jacksonville, and the reason why it was the anomaly was not necessarily because, Josh Allen had a great fourth quarter. Trevor Lawrence threw 2 interceptions. And that's what scares me the most, is if you can't come out on the plus side of the turnover margin today, I think it's going to be a really difficult game to win. I don't even think even on turnover and takeaway today is enough. You have to come over at least +1. So I'm most nervous about the turnovers today, and I am most nervous in terms of James Cook going off for 150. Those are my 2 pain points.
Do you have anything you're confident about for the Broncos? Because you said you weren't sure you think they'll hit him 6+ times like Kay Adams pointed out.
Yeah, I'm confident in the fact that Buffalo is injured right now, and they had to play a really difficult game last weekend. I'm confident in what looks to be the best, if not the second best defense in the entire world right now. I'm confident in the fact that if this is a close game, even if you don't start off hot, if it's a close game going into the second half and going into the fourth quarter, you have the best clutch time quarterback still in the postseason right now. 7 game-winning drives this year, leads the NFL. Sure, Bo Nix isn't great quarters 1 through 3. I only need him to be great when the moment calls for it. I'm excited for Bo. Yeah, I'm positive about that dude.
All right, we'll see if he's feeling positive on Monday as he gets the morning sprint going with Mike Sanford. And we will bid you adieu, my friend. Have a good rest of your weekend and maybe even get a nap in. I don't know if the little one will let you, but give it a go,
Hey, she's snoozing right now. I took my nap time to hang out with you guys. That's how good of a teammate I am.
Well, then you know what? You got a room right there. Just lay on the floor and get it in before she wakes up. Don't risk any noise.
Raj, I'll see you at exactly 10:02 a.m. as I'm literally sprinting in to enjoy a Victory Monday show with you on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
That's the name of the show. All right, and you know what? Also, Raj and Spring will be bringing you a little Between the Pipes on Monday.
Oh, yeah.
On a Martin Luther King Day edition. By the way, we'll have to get Spring's take on this Bronco game before it's all said and done, too. All right, we've wrapped up our first hour of coverage. We're here live at number 38. Get on down here. Great crowd showing up already. But, again, this place, there could not be a bigger patio for you to gather in Denver. It is the greatest backyard going.
And it's where everybody is right now.
And it is warm.
Everybody's
this place
here.
Is absolutely awesome.
They're all outside.
They got volleyball leagues going. They got cup stacking leagues going. We got a doing a brew happening. We got prizes to give away. The Altitude Sports tables out. I'm sure we got autographed stuff we're going to be giving away at the half. Come and get here. There's a beautiful crowd. They're younger. You're younger. You and I might be too old for this place. Let's just be honest about it.
I mean, age is
not
a choice.
so much you.
Yeah, age is a choice, man. I don't buy into that.
Yeah, you need a good vibe. You need cool people.
I'll tell you, Skinny Andy
Number
right now
3
fits. Skinny Andy fits right in with this this posh crowd.
Maybe come the fall, I'll bust out some skinny jeans.
Oh,
but probably I won't.
I got mine on,
them.
man. I got my black skinnies on.
Terribly disappointing for a coach of your age. We're to come back. More pregame coverage ahead on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. And we welcome you to our second hour of pregame coverage, live from number 38 in RiNO. A beautiful bar, beautiful place, bunch of beautiful people out here. Get on down here, even though, look, there's a great crowd, and I think if you're going to come watch a game, you want to be around a great crowd. But there's still plenty of room to sit. There's still the food situation here is awesome. We've got the smoker going. They've got all sorts of, you and I are going to have to get something to eat the minute this game starts.
Well, wifey just ordered me some dry rub wings, and I had a few right there during the break. And like you said, man,
Carolina sauce.
Oh, this is a beautiful crowd. And I'll tell you who would not necessarily fit in with this beautiful crowd.
Yeah, you know who's taking down the beauty level is our friend Mark Moser.
Yeah, there he is. That's
now I know he's made for TV, but I'm telling you, it's a little bit different level down here there, Moj.
I've been to number 38 a number of times, Knuckleheads. I love it down there. I can't be there right now, but you guys have a great time. It's an awesome place to watch a game.
Is there any truth to the rumor that we're going to have to put up with a rendition of Colorado Wagon here at some point? Are you going to take the stage?
Not today. Not after last night. No. We're gonna chill out for a little bit on that, and it may be a new Colorado Wagon once the Broncos get done with the game today. Man, this is big. I mean, it's been a long time since we've been in this position, boys. It's been a long time since we had this kind of hope for the football team. So let's let her rip. I was a little bit worried about the weather. I thought it would be cold. It's perfect. This is perfect football weather.
It's as good as it gets. It's good as it gets. Moj, when you look at the matchup of this game, and how much do you think the game is going to come down to a signature performance from your second-year quarterback, Bo Nix?
I think this could be one of those ones, Coach, where you and I look at each other and go, you know what? He is the real deal. Or, he was the real deal, that kind of thing. Look, he's proven all season long that he can make that comeback, right? That he can guide his team. I mean, when you look at him and you look at his numbers in crunch time when trailing, the guy has been absolutely phenomenal. Now, the postseason is a whole different story. And, guys, again, the reason I worried about the Buffalo Bills all week long is because they don't have their roadblocks in front of them anymore, right? I mean, they may be banged up, but, a lot of teams are banged up. And I'm sure the Broncos will have plenty of guys there's a difference between hurt and being injured. I'm sure they have a lot of guys themselves who are, quote, hurt, but I'm just nervous about the impediment to the Bills the last 6 years. Those are all gone. And do they, does that brain power of the Buffalo Bills, their mentality help propel them? I'm a little bit worried about that, but I think Bo Nix is going to have a hell of a day today.
Moj, as we talk about Bo Nix, it dawned on me that in that 2024 first round of quarterbacks selected now, half of them have a playoff victory. Jaden Daniels got his in his rookie year. Now Drake May has already gotten his in the wild card round. Also with Caleb Williams and his heroics in the fourth quarter to beat the Packers and restore hope and dreams of Bears Nation there in Chicago. How big is it that Bo Nix ends up on that side of this quarterback draft class with a W?
Well, Coach, before the draft, I thought to myself, okay, actually it was right after, I apologize. The 6 quarterbacks. I thought to myself, okay, 2 are probably going to be really, really good. 2 are going to be probably decent to pretty good, and 2 are going to flame out. And I'm already looking at the injured Penix, and I think he's awesome, but he's flaming out, and McCarthy's obviously right now flaming out a little bit. Now you've got the other guys, man. The other guys are doing their thing, and I don't know that Jaden's going to flame out. Maybe he'll come back to the mean, in year 5 or whatever. But I honestly think, as being the 6th quarterback taken, 12th overall, I would love to see Bo Nix be in that upper echelon, be one of the, quote, guys. And maybe it's 3, and maybe it's 4. Maybe you have 4 great quarterbacks and 2 flameouts. I don't know, but I think it's important, Coach, and I don't want to put too much pressure on him here in the early going to, you got to have a playoff win, but he's a mature young man. He's beyond his years, I think, at this point, and I think it would be cool to measure him against the Drake May, against the Caleb Williams, who's obviously performed way better, and against the Jaden Daniels, whom we all think is a pretty dang good player.
Real quick, Moj, I got to help out. One of our guys here was excited to throw a parlay down with Caleb Lohner having some action. We've got the inactives. Caleb Lohner and Elijah Moore, despite getting promoted to the active roster, are not active today against the Broncos. Nobody else is really surprised. Sam Ellinger, Reese Taylor, Carini Reed, Lohner, Savion Jones, and Q Robinson will be the guys that don't get a uniform today for the game. All right, Mark, you and I covered 2015 quite extensively. I was lucky enough to be on the sideline. I know you were chatting it up on the radio daily. How much does this team remind you of that team that we used to see back in 2015? Oddly enough, dead on 10 years ago from this date today.
It's pretty weird because I remember how good that defense was, Andy, and it was way different than 2013, right? I mean, it was a total flip of what propelled the Denver Broncos to success. And they almost got it done one way but didn't. They got it done the other way, and this team is just like that. I mean, this defense is killer. I mean, it really is. And what I've loved about this defense since day one, and they've got some very, very good players and obviously great players like Pat Surtain, but they've got just a lot of guys who pull that dang rope all in unison. And I don't know how else to put it other than a cliche like that because all the players put together are better than maybe all their talent level overall individually. And it's killer to watch. It reminds me an awful lot of that. You'd be hard-pressed to get me to compare Bo Nix to Peyton Manning at this point. I'm not sure I can go that far, but the defense is going to lead the way. If they can stop the running game and they can get to Josh Allen. Allen does everything well. Coach, you tell me. I know he can hit guys down the field. I know he can hit guys in stride. I know he can scramble out of the pocket. And his screen game is a lot better than maybe people even realize because he's so big and so on and so forth. But he's very adept, and he has a real deft touch on the screen game. When you try to get him, man, he can make things happen. He's either out of the pocket or he's dropping it off, and you're picking up 7-9 yards. He presents a big challenge for this Broncos defense. But, Andy, you're right, man. It looks an awful lot like it did 10 years ago.
All right, my friend, we appreciate you jumping on. I hope you have a better game to call on Monday. By the way, Colorado Wagon was not the reason for what we saw last night in any way, shape, or form. And, boy, I'll tell you what, I didn't think we'd see a spicy Coach Bednar. He was full of pepper after the game last night.
Hey, man, listen, you may still be the best team in the league with the best record. There are things to work on. There are things to pay attention to, and he's going to make sure that his team does that before Monday against the Caps. And where's Knucklehead coming from? What's he doing? Look at him. Oh, he's in his
look
basement.
At Brett Kane in his own little sports bar down there.
No, it's his brand new basement. Yeah, he's got his brand new basement going on.
Oh, now he's bailing. Yeah, don't be going anywhere.
No wonder where all the funds from Altitude Sports Radio have been going, man. I didn't know Brett Kane was that guy.
I wasn't aware he wasn't on maternity leave. Apparently what he was doing was building a new sports bar in his basement. Now I don't buy it.
Gig.
Moj, we appreciate you, man. We'll let you talk with Brett Kane about this coming up on Monday. We now talk to the man that drives the car. A guy that
tough car to drive,
dude. I'm telling you, he's like Toots is the cat, having to pull that wheel away from everybody constantly, and what he's got going on in the morning.
Not the easiest drive.
Brett, all right. What's your gut feel tell you about? I don't know. I feel like we've all been fairly confident with the Broncos, but now that it's 2 hours out, I know the defense has got to play well. I have confidence the offense can, but the defense has got to be better than what they've been, frankly, since the Jacksonville game, because that is how you got here. And so I want to see that on display right away. How are you feeling as we're now looking at about an hour and 20 minutes from kickoff?
I would say cautiously optimistic. Like, here's what's weird. We were talking about this on the show a couple of days ago, and in football, there's one tried and true formula that if you have a good defense, a great defense, that's always going to be the advantage. And I think now our brains from fantasy football and just watching Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and all the greats at quarterback over the last 20 years do their thing, we've morphed that confidence into if you can score, then that's the thing that you should be most confident in and has you feeling good going into a game like this. And I said, go back to 2013. How confident were you that Peyton Manning and that offense was going to wreck the Seahawks in the Super Bowl? And Vic and Moser said, yeah, we were confident. They go, 2015, were you? And the answer was no. And in both cases, the better defense came out on top. And in this, it's Josh Allen. And Josh Allen is the best quarterback that's left in the postseason right now, unless you think Stafford's in that conversation. But it's him going against a great defense. And I'll put my money on the defense. I'll just do it through NFL history and say that that's the thing I'll roll with.
Kaner, when you look at this matchup, if you were forced to choose from the Broncos' perspective, a 400-plus passing day from Josh Allen or a 125-yard rushing performance from James Cook, which one would you choose?
Well, I think in that scenario, the 120 from James Cook, because the allegation here is that if James Cook runs for 120, that opens up the passing game. If he's thrown for 400, then the passing game's already opened up. Look, I think it's important that they stop James Cook. And it's funny, I was a little insulting on our show, and I did call them people who live near Niagara Falls might not have an IQ above room temperature because they didn't understand what we were talking about. And it was that we put this clip out saying stopping the run is going to be the most important thing because it was not forcing Josh Allen to throw. They're like, oh, I dare you, force him to throw. It's the idea of if you can't run the football, then your pass rush, which is best in the league for 2 straight years, is able to pin their ears back and get after him. When Josh Allen's been sacked 4 or more times this year, he's lost every game. And he's 0-3 in those scenarios. And the Broncos sack people 4 more times a lot during the course of the season. And so, yes, you need to stop James Cook. But if you're telling me the alternative is I'm automatically giving up 400 through the air, I'll pass.
Yeah, but I would tell you this. Wrong answer there. From the morning show that likes to...
What do you know about football, Sanford?
Nothing. From the morning show that picks fights with regions of the country or even entire countries like Palathinaikos and Greece. They all hate you guys. Western New York and Greece hate...
Hang on.
Go ahead.
I abstained from the Greece discussion because I would love to visit one day. That was all Vic Lombardi.
Santorini's a different area anyway. Palathinaikos very different. But the right answer there is, in my opinion, if Josh Allen's thrown for if he throws for 400-plus yards, they're playing catch-up football. And in that event, that means that the Broncos were able to pin their ears back and probably do indeed hit Josh Allen 6 or more times, which seems to be the magic number to be able to get the Buffalo Bills to make mistakes they don't typically make in their other games.
If they throw for 400, though, that is so out of character for your defense. That means you're playing catch-up, too.
I don't like either number, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah.
It's funny. As a football, as a coach, I'm always like, I love when the other team throws for a ton more yards and we rush for more yards because that means you won the football game.
Well,
you controlled the game.
So, sort of on that subject about quarterbacks and if they play well or not and playing catch-up and high-scoring, whatever. What's really interesting about this is this game has been built not just here with us because I've done this a lot and I'm sure you guys have too, but nationally it's been like Josh Allen versus the Broncos defense. Whoever wins that battle wins the game. And what's really weird, and I understand it's early in his career, but this is going to be Bo Nix's second playoff game.
Yeah.
It's his second year in the league, and there's really not a lot of discussion on what are the implications with a win or a loss for him. And I'm wondering, is that just because people don't see Bo Nix as the driving thrust to what makes the Broncos go, so they think it doesn't matter? It reminds me a little bit of like early Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson stuff.
Yeah, I also just think that, look, Josh has got to start. Josh is entering the John Elway territory around where John hit the drive, where people wondered, can he win a big game? Can he win in the playoffs? Is it too much hype? Is he the most overpaid quarterback? He was dealing with all that as a former number 1 overall pick, right? And then the drive game is where he announced, not only can I do it, I can do it in a moment where you didn't think I could do it at all, going from the 2-yard line on the road in a nasty place, blah, blah, blah. So I think Josh is starting to face the legacy questions. What will your legacy be? We're not to the point yet where we know what the Bo legacy is going to be, right? I think we're all still waiting, and next year will be probably a bigger barometer of it. Is there another level to the play, or is this what Bo Nix is? Not that what he is now is bad, but no one is asking, with Josh, now it's, are you going to get to a Super Bowl or not, dude? Are you going to be Dan Marino, or are you going to join, the guys that actually got there? And I think that's why the narrative is different for the two guys right now.
Josh is facing, on top of that, no Mahomes, no Burrow, no Jackson, no of the big guns that are at that position standing in front of him this year. It's kind of a if not now, then when thing that he's facing. But with Bo, if they go out and they lose, what was the score last year, 31-7? If that happens again, are we making any judgments about Bo Nix, or is it another shoulder shrug?
I think it'll depend on how this looks. It's very hard for me. If they are a bunch of 3-and-outs, and again, you wasted another defensive effort that gives you into the third quarter where you could get into a game that you don't go into. Yeah, I think we're going to have some hard discussions next week.
I think the conversation in that case goes more towards Sean Payton, the offensive play caller.
Sure.
If at home, yet again,
right,
you don't deliver the goods with what was really promised in your third year as a head football coach, which is to have a dynamic offense. But, I was going to ask you this, Kaner. What would a winning stat line look like for Bo Nix today? And you can include run game, pass game, but what do you think a winning, not necessarily like legendary, but a winning stat line, what are you looking for Bo?
How about this? If he is 45 to 50% on third down conversion,
okay.
If he's doing that, if he's got north of 200 passing yards, and I think him running the football is going to be important. Like it's very clear and obvious. I went back and looked. The multi-touchdown passing games that Bo Nix had under J.K. Dobbins, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think there were 5 in 10 games. He's had 1 since J.K. Dobbins left, and that was the Packers game where he had 4. It's very obviously that they can't get a consistent rushing attack together without J.K. Dobbins in the lineup. And he is, we've been saying this for 2 years. He is so unbelievably athletic. Like, I would put him up against, you got your Lamars and your Josh Allens and guys like that. He's got to be top 5, 6 in the league as far as just straight speed using his legs. I think they got to do it. And this is throw caution to the wind and however you can pick up chains, go ahead and do it. I watched Josh Allen almost single-handedly will them to a victory last week against the Jags because he was forced to do kind of everything because James Cook wasn't getting anywhere on the ground against the number 1 rush defense. He's like, all right, I got to do it through the air, and I got to do it with my legs. And if that means I got to carry a pile 11 yards up a tush push, then I'm going to do it. Now, Bo Nix isn't built that way, but if he gets into open space, he can make things happen. I think if he gets he's got to have, to me, 7 to 8 rushing attempts, and that should net him 45 to 50 yards. I think that would be sort of the money area for me.
All right, we're going to let you go. Get ready for this one and get your prep ready for Monday as we all talk about it. He is Brett Kane of Moser, Lombardi, and Kane. Third and final piece going to join us, Vic Lombardi. That's coming up after the break. We'll also hear from Dan Tanner. Enjoy the game, Brett, because I hope we all enjoy the game by the time this is done.
All right, boys. I'll see you.
All right. We're going to come back, take another timeout. We're halfway through our second hour of coverage here, our pregame coverage, taking up to kickoff at 2:30. We're at number 38. Again, get on out here. We're down in RiNO. A lot of people are here. Guess what? There's still plenty of space still available because this is a massive spot to be able to hang out, enjoy some great food, enjoy some great brews. And, of course, we got Tullamore Dew here, which means we'll be giving away some stuff at halftime. We're going to do a watch party once this sucker's done. Plenty of reason to get on down to number 38 in RiNO. We're back. We talk with the great Vic Lombardi after this on Altitude Sports Radio's pregame coverage on 92.5. And we welcome you back. It is Altitude Sports Radio's pregame coverage here on 92.5. Pleased to have you along. We're live at number 38. This is where our watch party is going to be, and there's a whole lot of people out here to come check it out. Again, beautiful day. This is any sort of beautiful weather, whether a little chilly or not. This is the place to be. Number 38 has a gigantic patio that you can take advantage of and a huge screen out there. Great sound system. You will hear all the commentary if that's what you desire. Plenty of place to go up with your friends. And you know what? When there isn't a game on, they got cup stacking, they got sand volleyball, they've got so much fun stuff happening all throughout the week here at number 38. So get on down to RiNO and join us. And I believe it's Dan Tanner we have now. Correct, Mark? Say that one more time.
Yeah,
Dan
it's
Tanner.
DT.
Yes, we've got Dan. DT's going to join us. We're trying to raise Vic, but Vic's out at the stadium like DMac was. They are going to be there for the game, bringing us some coverage on site, and, of course, it's a little bit busy there. Another guy that did just show up but apparently is in a little less busy cell phone area is Dan Tanner. Dan Tanner, you've been walking around the stadium now a little bit. Give us a little flavor as to what's going on. Good energy out there, I would assume?
Andy, Mike, this is the energy of a decade of no playoff games here in the Mile High City. The energy is palpable. Fans are juiced up. Man, I got to tell you guys, the amount of Bills fans I've seen is shocking. There's not that many. This is a 95% Broncos crowd that I'm seeing out here. So I don't know if Bills fans travel well regularly, but, man, Broncos country has fully taken over the stadium. It's about 100-1 Broncos jerseys to Bills jerseys right now, guys. So the vibes out here are great. And Broncos fans have been talking to them. They're excited, and they're confident that they can win today.
DT, when you look out there and see the crowd, we've been trying to get some intel on the weather around Empower Field. What kind of breeze are you feeling? Any significant breeze, or is it just sunbathed and just another beautiful blue sky Colorado day?
Yeah, so I heard DMac on with you guys earlier. He said it pretty accurately. I'm on the south end of the stadium right now, and it's just a very light breeze. There will be a little bit of a gust here and there. But honestly, guys, like, looking at some flags right now, and they're hardly even moving. So I don't know if the wind gusts are going to pick up later this afternoon. But right now, it is as picture-perfect of a playoff football day as you could ask for. I mean, this is playoff football weather right now. Considering what the Broncos have been playing in all year, it's 60 degrees or warmer. It is perfect football weather. The sun is shining, and, boy, I got to tell you guys, I can't emphasize this enough. These fans are jacked up. Everybody's in a great mood. They're going crazy, and just great energy out here. Like I said, you can tell it's been a decade of pent-up frustration that is being unleashed on Empower Field today.
Yeah, literally 10 years since the last time we saw them play a home playoff game, and heck, it might have even been around this time because we were not to the 17-game schedule yet.
Was it Sports Authority Stadium at the time?
Yeah, it was Sports Authority Field in Mile High at that point. Right. And so I remember being out there but it was, it was, again, I think this might have been the weekend of the AFC Championship because you did not have the extra scheduling that we had right now. So literally, I think 10 years have passed between these playoff games. Dan, we've been asking everybody. I think everybody at the station feels confident that the Broncos, mainly for me based on their defense and the way I believe they'll play, that this team is going to have some success today. But now that, again, as we get closer and you're about to watch this thing kick off, where are your nerves? What are your feelings?
Guys, I don't know. I would say my biggest concern, I think, is a lot of Broncos fans' concern. When we see Bo Nix and the Broncos offense get in lulls today, struggle in the red zone, like, I think I've been talking to some fans out here, and they've expressed those concerns as well. I mean, like I said, most of the fans are very confident, but I've asked fans, what are you guys concerned about? And it's been, can the offense score enough points? Are we going to kind of see the lulls that this team has gotten into throughout the course of the regular season? That's the biggest concern, at least out here today, with Broncos fans. And I will just say this, guys, I have yet to see a table with Bills fans jumping through a table. And I wanted to ask both of you guys, how many Bud Lights would it take for Mike Sanford and Andy Lindahl to jump through a folding table?
Well, I think the height's going to matter significantly because
I ain't doing it.
I'm not in a great place in life right now to end up with a broken clavicle.
Here's the thing, Dan, is that you get to a point where I'd rather just sip a Tullamore Dew
And maybe a brew.
Watch
Enjoy
you,
a brew.
Yeah.
Singular brew.
Yeah, but you could go ahead and you could show everybody that you could survive it. I am fine if I'm told I'm a scaredy cat or whatever, and therefore I'm not. I don't need to. I do know it's going to hurt more than it wants to.
Those are what the Bud Lights are for, Andy. Liquid courage.
You got the wrong sponsor today, Dan. Lock in with me here a little bit. We're talking about Tullamore Dew, my man. And Tullamore Dew leads to some more wise decisions.
Yeah.
How about that?
We've grown up.
Hey,
we enjoy the finer things in life.
Yeah, when you get to our age, Dan, you enjoy a bourbon, an Irish whiskey. You're not worried about the other stuff
you know what?
as much.
You're perfectly content
and
sipping
you know what?
it.
And you know what? And you look at a table and you go, I'd like that table to stay intact. That looks like a nice table.
It's a good table. It serves a purpose,
But
right?
you said there's not even enough fans out there to do it there, Dan. That's what's the great part, right?
There's not that many Bills fans here. It's kind of shocking. And like I said, I see one Bills flag across the parking lot. That's it. There's no table. Total posers. You don't have a table. You got a Bills flag. They're grilling, and they don't have a table. What is going on here?
All right, Dan, I got a question for you. Are you currently near a Broncos fan outside of Empower Field?
I'm near about 10,000, Mike.
Can you grab the first one that you see that looks like they're not going to drop an F-bomb
on
live
I don't like
radio?
this. Never mind, Dan. I'm going to overrule him. We got Tyler hanging out in his suite. We're going to talk to him because I've tried this. Remember, I'm the guy. Mike doesn't remember.
Oh, this is the Andy.
No.
You've been coaching for 20 years while I've been doing this.
Dan will back me up on this. There was one time where I thought it'd be cool to let a guy say hello to Tyson Berry during the parade, or not Tyson Berry, Alex Newhook. And despite multiple warnings not to say what we asked him to, he said it anyway. So I'm not going to put Dan on the spot like that. So we're going to let you go, Dan. We appreciate you. And then hopefully we're all talking about good things come Monday.
No tables, no fun interviews. Man, Andy
Lindahl
really is.
No, we're going to have a little bit of
police,
fun. But we'll maybe trust somebody here.
You know what's good is I got my homies here that are ready to have some dang fun today.
They're ready to go. Now, is Tyler good to go there, Mark? Does it sound like Tyler's good? All right, let's welcome in a guy that I don't think has ever jumped through a table, but maybe has felt like he's pushed some people into one. I don't know. I can't come up with really a way to transition. Our guy, Tyler Polumbus, who looks like he's enjoying life in a suite. Is that where you are? Are you VIP today, Tyler?
Andy, I had to put a little bit of work in for these tickets. I'm kind of a big deal, so just did a little autograph session. And my payment for the autograph session was I got 2 tickets in the Bud Light Champions Club.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
yeah. It's a good deal. I got a bunch of teammates up here. Ryan Harris is up here. There's actually a bunch of Super Bowl 50 guys that are about to be in here with me. So it's actually going to be really fun because we're all going to be watching the game together.
Tyler, this is an offensive line for the Denver Broncos. I know coming from experience and playing in huge games with unbelievable magnitude. A lot of times it comes down to the trenches, and the Broncos, they're the number 1 rated by Pro Football Focus. I know it's not the perfect site, but the number 1 rated offensive line. How good has this offensive line been? And when you watch it from your perspective, to be ranked number 1 as a unit without really one superstar, how much of an impact did that have on the day against the Bills?
Yeah, so O-line on the season has been fantastic. Ironically, they're coming off, in my opinion, their worst game of the season against the Chargers. The offensive line really struggled against the Chargers in particular. Chargers ran so many games and twists. Like every freaking play, they were running a 2-3-man game. And the Broncos offensive line really struggled. So I'm fully expecting the Bills to try to do something very similar with it. But you're right. The whole line on the year has been great. Garrett Bowles has been great. McClinchy, everybody's been really, really good. We've had some turnover at the center position. Forsythe and Sam both have had to play some football for us. That's been a huge part of keeping Bo clean, and it's going to be important. Bills get Ed Oliver back in this game, but I do like the matchup between the Broncos offensive line and the Bills D-line. Now, Bills offensive line, it's a good group. On paper, it's a really good group. I like the 2 tackles, Spencer Brown and Deion Dawkins. However, Josh Allen took a career-high 40 sacks this year. So if we can get after Josh Allen, that would be huge. I read some stat from Kay Adams that when Josh Allen gets hit 6 or more times in the game, he's like 1-4 or something like that. And I think this Broncos defensive line, they can get after Josh, get 6 hits on a 4-man rush. So I like that matchup.
You know, I find this interesting. Sorry to interrupt there, Andy. While we're still on offensive line, both of these offensive lines are built a little bit differently than the offensive lines you played for in Denver. The wide zone, outside zone, more athletic, angular, power forward types. These are two huge, like massive, barrel-chested offensive line groups, especially well, you look at their interior guys, especially the guard position. Those guys are massive humans, over 330 pounds. What do you think's going on, maybe just in terms of the evolution of the builds of offensive lines? And do you think it's just more scheme dependent for the Broncos and the Bills and how they built it?
Well, the Broncos, Sean Payton's a big gap scheme guy. He loves running duo. Duo is arguably his favorite running play. They did try to implement more zone running this year. And typically speaking, like you just said, zone running is where you get the more lean, athletic offensive linemen. You're still going to find offensive linemen, maybe not as skinny as I was, but skinnier groups depending on the teams that you're playing on. But I think this Broncos offensive line, they were built to be a gap unit and get downhill.
All right, is this Bills defense maybe a little more formidable than what we gave them credit for? Because we heard about how they're bad against the run, but Leggy had that stat, that stat, they're bad against the run outside. They're not as bad up the middle, and now you get Ed Oliver back. What's your thought as far as how formidable this group is and the challenge that's in front of the Broncos offense?
I hate to sound like DMac here because it drives me nuts when he's all arrogant and confident. And listen, I don't think it's a good defense at all. I don't. I do not think the Bills have a good defense. Yeah, they've got a weird stat that they've got the best secondary in the NFL in terms of pass defense, but they get cut through like Swiss cheese all the time. And if you really go back and watch the games, there's been some horrible games from this defense. So I expect the Broncos to be able to run the football. The Bills are ranked number 28 in rush defense. I don't know if Sean will be able to commit to it. He said he's going to write it on the play sheet, run the ball. Hopefully he writes it in all caps and makes it a little bit bigger this time.
Tyler Polumbus, run game coordinator. If you had one scheme that you could call against this Bills defensive line that has given up at 5.1 yards per carry in their front seven, which one scheme would you call with the most frequency today against the Bills, and explain it to all of us simpletons?
Yeah, I'd run a lot of wide zone, but not necessarily the way the Broncos fans think of wide zone. Broncos fans think of wide zone as a start right, come back left type of play. Right. I think you can reach these defensive tackles. I do, and you can keep this play front side. The goal, for my opinion, if you get a 7 technique, a 5 or 7 technique out there, try to reach that dude and reach them all day long, because those 3 techniques, 4 eyes, whatever their defense they're going to be running, they get reached a lot. And when you can reach play side, brother, it's the easiest run-in that the NFL will ever give you.
Circle the defense, right? Get outside.
Yep.
All right, we're going to let you go enjoy some of your former teammates, and I guess we'll see how late in the night this thing goes. Hopefully you're celebrating another victory here, and the Broncos add to their illustrious playoff history. Tyler, have fun, and we'll talk to you coming up here on Monday.
All right, boys. Have a good rest of the show. Talk to you later.
There it is. Tyler Polumbus. There he is, I should say. Ooh, you have a Christian McCaffrey jersey. I like that, too. Huh?
Let's
Would you
go.
be all right? Should we have another Bronco Niners Super Bowl? You be all right with that?
I would be more than okay
with that. What do you keep getting handed there, by the way?
These are the virgin vodka sodas.
So soda water.
Soda water with a lime.
I like the lime. The lime really classes it up.
Well, it also when you're on one of these challenges.
Yeah.
It kind of
where you're trying to be ripped again.
Trying to get like you.
Sure.
Trying to get like Andy Lindahl.
No, we're all trying to be like Tyler. Let's be honest.
Just straight up water.
Yeah.
It gets a little bit mundane.
It does. Got to add a little lime, a little lemon.
I might have to mix in an NA beer.
But you can. I don't know about all that. I mean, what are you really doing there?
Unneeded calories.
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What's that getting you?
Nothing.
Have some more wings. That would be my suggestion. There you go.
They're fantastic.
All right, we're going to come back. We're going to start reading some of your texts. If you'd like to jump in, give us some predictions. 303-504-0925 is the text line number. We're still going to try to effort Vic Lombardi, but he might be so deep in the fray right now. I don't know if we're going to be able to find him or not. no matter what, we are going to come back. More pregame coverage ahead here on Altitude Sports Radio. Live from number 38 out here in RiNO is ahead on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Oh, you got a little Blink 182 to get you right. Let's get this going. Bo Nix is out on the field warming up. So is Josh Allen. We are getting closer and closer. This is what happens every year. I'm just ready to play the game.
Me too,
I don't want to talk about it anymore. I just want to play, and I want to see what is going to happen. The guy that's going to be live and in person and take it in from the stadium is our very own Vic Lombardi. He joins us now. We've had a couple of reports from the stadium already. and mainly it's that there's a lot of juice out there and a lot of positive vibes. How are you feeling, Vic? What are you getting out there?
I'm feeling great. I just walked in. I'm in the press box right now, so it's a bit of an antiseptic atmosphere, as you well know. I hate being in the press box. You're like in an aquarium over here. You don't get a feel of the game. I have to be very quiet. I can't speak very loudly. I'm next to Rachel Behill and DMac, and DMac is just man-possessed right now. But anyway, the atmosphere is everything you'd expect it to be. Bronco fans are excited. It's not as cold as I thought it would be, guys. I thought it was going to be very, very chilly. But right now, when you're in the sun, it's fine. I mean, and I'm a soft person. I hate the cold. It's not that bad. I'm sure it will be around 4:30, 5 o'clock, though.
Yeah, I know in that climate-controlled press box there, Vic, it is very nice, about 72 degrees and perfect for you. Vic, what is your number one key for the Broncos to do something they haven't done in a decade, and that's win a playoff game?
Don't let Josh Allen have the ball with over a minute to play, trailing by less than a touchdown. That is the key to this game. I really believe it's going to come down to that. And anybody who thinks it's going to be different, I'm looking at some of these scores, and I know you guys have offered your scores. If you think 17 to 20 points is going to be enough to beat Josh Allen, you're on drugs. You're going to have to score today. Scoring is going to be necessary today. And they're going to have to find it like they did in that Green Bay game, like they did in that Dallas game. You're going to have to score to beat this team. I don't care what anybody says. That's why I have a high-scoring output. I think it's going to be something like 34-30, to be honest with you.
Boy, I don't know, Vic. I don't know if they can win that kind of game. You don't. So what is you doubting the Denver defense maybe not being as stout as home as they've been most of the year?
You can be as stout as you want to be. The bottom line is this guy's going to find a way to move the ball, just like he did last week when they couldn't generate a run game whatsoever, and yet they put points on the board. Guys, we forget these games are always going to be close, and they're always going to come down to the final possession. I just went around the parking lot, and I asked everybody this question. I'll ask you guys. Andy, you should know the answer to this. In the 2015 divisional playoff game, the Denver Broncos beat what team? Who'd they beat in that game?
The New England Patriots. In the divisional playoff game, it was Pittsburgh.
Playoff game.
It was the Steelers, the Antonio Brown-less Steelers after he got his brain rattled.
And Big Ben, though, right?
And Big Ben.
It was a one-score game. It was 23-16. These games are not easy, no matter who you play, no matter where you play them. It's going to be a one-score game today. The good news is the Broncos are very used to that, and you know what? Unfortunately, so is Buffalo.
You bring up a really interesting comparison there in terms of the game. Divisional round victory in 2015 over the Pittsburgh Steelers, quarterbacked by big, physical, find a way to get it done guy Ben Roethlisberger. Is Josh Allen this generation's Ben Roethlisberger, or is he better?
I think he's better, only because I think Ben had better players around him at the time, as history would prove. I think Josh can do more with his feet. Ben was just stronger. Ben was just, you couldn't put him down. I mean, we all remember the 2005 AFC Championship game here. They would have guys climbing all over his shoulders, and he wouldn't go down. This guy, he gets in the open field. Look out. Now, is he banged up today? Is he the same player he was 2-3 weeks ago? I don't know. I do know this. You better tackle. You better not play like you did Jacksonville. Remember that Jacksonville game? Remember how many missed tackles we saw in that game on the perimeter? You do that today, and you're in for a long day. You better tackle today.
Well, and Vic, they've got to be better in the red zone than they were that day. That's the bottom line. This Broncos defense all year has been defined on giving up yardage, but shutting it down when you get in the red zone, and that absolutely has to stay true today. All right, if the Broncos run the ball well, and we've all said that's going to be a key, who do you think the leading rusher is?
Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix will be, because I don't know who's going to do what you just claimed they can do. I haven't really seen it outside of J.K. Dobbins, who's not playing today. So I don't know what run the ball well means. I mean, what do you think they're going to put a 100-yard rusher on the field today? I mean,
I think enough. Here's what I would say, Vic. I think you need to run it enough that they have to be concerned about it, that you get some favorable pass looks that maybe you won't get if you don't test the edges, which is allegedly a weakness of this Bills defense.
I almost, to your point, Vic, you almost feel like a successful number would be one tailback plus Bo Nix's total yardage to be over 100.
Yeah, that sounds more appealing to me, because unless you've got a guy who's going to break one for 75 yards, good luck breaking the 100-yard barrier today against this team. It's just, it's a more conservative defensive game plan come playoff time. They're not going to let that happen. I just don't see it.
Vic, every generation of and decade of Broncos football takes on its own life, and this is a new, hopefully dynastic run for the Denver Broncos. Who's been your personal favorite niche player from this particular Broncos team?
Marvin Mims, and we've talked about it all year. If he finds a way to have a game, the Broncos are usually playing great football. They're usually winning games. Whether you put him in the backfield, whether he breaks something on special teams or has a long pass catch, I think he's that player. If they can find a way to make him stand out today, whatever it may be, I think the Broncos are in for a good day. I think Marvin has got his name written all over this game.
Yeah, I'd love to see a huge game from him, Vic. He's just one of those guys that I can't figure out why Sean Payton's not game planning a little bit harder around, but never really seems to happen. All right, final prediction, Vic. What do you got as a final score, my friend, before you talk about all this on Moser, Lombardi, and Kane on Monday?
I gave you my score earlier. By the way, I'm watching these Bills fans walk up to their seats right now. One of these guys is wearing one of those big woolly mammoth hats. The Bills, those are pretty cool, actually. I can't hate on that. Those are really nice.
Is it like from the Water Buffalo Lodge of Fred Flintstone fame, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, one of those Flintstones hats that I've always wanted since I was a kid. I'll say this. I want the winner of this game clearly to win the Super Bowl. No matter who wins this game, I want the winner of this game to win the Super Bowl, and I think both teams have a chance. And if the Bills win this game, I'm all behind them, because then I think they're that team of destiny no matter what. If they go on the road 2 weeks in a row on a short week and do what they've done, I think the Broncos, though, at the end of the day, I think it's 34-30. But whoever has the ball last, and I'm not talking with 3 seconds or 10 seconds, whoever has it last wins this game, 34-30.
And you will be breaking it down first on Mile High Postgame Live on Altitude TV when this is all said and done. I believe we're going to simulcast that here on Altitude Sports Radio as well. All right, Vic, enjoy the game. I like to keep saying, if you all enjoy it, that means we're all going to enjoy it too, and we'll talk to you a little bit later on. Thanks, Vic.
All right, gang, take care.
That is Vic Lombardi in our, I don't know. Am I off there? Seriously, 34-30 doesn't feel like a shootout the Broncos are built to win, but maybe. I think it's got to be more like 24-20. If the defense is giving up 30-some points, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's weird. I have similar vibes that Vic does in terms of I think the offensive output for the Denver Broncos is going to be better than what even some Denver Broncos faithful think right now.
Yeah, but I could see the first quarter being a feeling out for both teams, or we maybe don't get a lot of scoring.
I have this thing 28-24.
Okay.
I think it's going to for whatever reason, I feel like the weather's good. Playoff football, a lot of these games, they end up 16-13,
right,
19-16. Those types of games typically are played in some type of adverse weather condition. The Broncos are going to have to adapt their play style from the last 2 games of the regular season to be able to beat a Buffalo Bills team that's going to be more than capable of scoring, I'd say this, at least 23 points. I think that the team that scores, I said this yesterday on the air with you, I think that the number is 25 points. The team that gets above 25, I think is going to win the game.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I just think if both teams are in the 30s, I don't know, man. That just doesn't feel like the MO for how the Broncos got to 14 wins this season.
Boy, I tell you what, man.
Other than that Giants game.
You know what almost guarantee a victory, in my opinion, is a Pat Surtain, Riley Moss, or Nick Benito scoop and score, pick six. Defensive score wins this football game for Denver. How glorious would that be? Like, you would know as a fan watching that moment, Broncos are going to win this game.
Yeah, Nate had the stat. The Bills have not turned the ball over in the playoffs since 2022.
That's wild.
So if you change that trend, now look, they just won their first road playoff game with Josh Allen last week. So maybe this is the year to change some trends and get a big turnover.
Can we also agree, like, as good as Jacksonville looked against the Broncos,
which
was unbelievable. I was very, very bullish on Jacksonville as a playoff and even Super Bowl contender.
I thought they were the most complete team in the tourney.
But with Liam Cohen, first-year head coach, Jaguars having been really mired in bad football or mediocrity at best, do you feel like they weren't quite prepared for the moment where there's a chance that this Denver Broncos team is more well-equipped at home than Jacksonville was a week ago?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, they knew what they were getting into because they faced Buffalo a year ago, and I just feel like Jacksonville as we went down the stretch, I did think they were tempting the football gods, getting a little too cocky. They put the thing out about all their wins at the end of the year. The Broncos were a clown in their little thing. I mean, all right, dude. You know
what Jacksonville felt like?
Yeah, you maybe felt like you accomplished something before you had.
You know what Jacksonville felt like that I think is the antithesis of what the Broncos are? Jacksonville felt really good, but really immature.
Yeah.
And it starts at the top with their head coach, Liam Cohen, and all the antics he pulled off. And frankly, I bought into it because it was fun. It was exciting. He was putting up awesome offensive game plans. But you know what? Sometimes that mentality, touch the hot stove and I'm not going to get burned, it catches up to you when it catches up to you. On the flip side, the Broncos at times have been freaking flat out boring. But they've been mature.
They have.
It's a mature football team.
Look, I'm just going to tell you, there is playoff football's hard. It's always hard. I had the good fortune of being on the sideline for so many games in the Peyton Manning era, and I am just telling you, the last time I remember a really easy playoff football game, you got to go all the way back to the Broncos' first Super Bowl run where they just basically spanked the pants off of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Matter of fact, they then did it the year later to Miami. This team ain't built like that team was. Even the 2013 Broncos had to kind of have some tougher games against the Chargers and the Patriots before going on to the Super Bowl. And that team was a team that set the record for scoring the most points in NFL history. All right, we're going to come back. We've got a half-hour of coverage left. We are basically sitting about 35 minutes away from the Broncos and the Bills finally kicking this one off, and we can you can get some questions answered, take in some playoff football again, get down to number 38. We got a ton of people here, ton of space left. Get down here. It's a great place to watch a football game. That's where Mike and I will be. We're going to come back, bring you one more half hour of coverage before we finally do this thing for real on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Yes. Inching closer to game time. Of course, if you're in the Mile High City, boy, this is nothing. Wait, if we were to go to the Super Bowl in about 3 weeks, you just wait. How long, what's the most pregame coverage we did during the Nuggets run last year? Do you remember? Unfortunately, the Avs run was not as long as we all would have liked. I once had to do 6 hours of pregame coverage prior to a Super Bowl.
Andy, if the Denver Broncos get to Super Bowl, what is it this year?
60.
Whoa, that's pretty cool. Duh. 10 years later after you won it.
Yeah, math.
The Broncos get to Super Bowl 60. I'll do 60 hours.
Yeah, don't say that.
Coverage.
You know, Kevin's in the car.
Yeah, I don't
You're
care.
locked in.
You know what, though, man? How incredible would that be with this particular team that just 2 years ago, the win total was set at 4.5? 4.5.
Yeah, trust me, it's amazing. They're so far ahead. That's the thing about today. I got an interesting question for next week, depending on how this all ends up. But you know what? We're not going to worry about it right now because I feel like this is going to be a Denver victory, and we're going to be talking about an AFC Championship in my mind against probably the Houston Texans, because I'm going to side with all the great defenses left in the playoffs. Real quick,
New England's defense is not bad now.
No, I know it isn't.
But Texans right now are.
It's just another level.
The Texans' defense right now is the best in the National Football League today.
Yeah.
Now, the Broncos have a chance to change that with what they do against
Josh
Allen.
They've had. And you know what stinks is it's not like the Broncos had a bad last 3 weeks defensively. Jacksonville was tough. I mean, they basically didn't allow Kansas City to do anything. The problem is when it came to KC and the Chargers, I didn't get the game I expected, mainly on the offensive side of the ball, and it sort of taints how I look at those last 2 weeks. But nonetheless, they got to get back to hitting the quarterback. They got to get back to being impenetrable in the red zone. That's all got to happen because I think that's what predicates a Super Bowl run. Let's bring in Mark Springer. He's had to run the board today, but again, another one of the voices you hear on Altitude Sports Radio, 92.5. Just got done doing a little between the pipes last night. All right, now I've heard you talking with Berto all week long there, Spring. How are you feeling now? Have you changed any of your predictions? You were kind of expecting a bit of a shootout, aren't you?
It feels like a lot of people on our station are. Maybe we're all just so savvy. We're just ahead of the curve. Because this total is 45.5, or at least that's what I saw recently. And I feel like everybody's going to, expect a lower scoring game. When I fade the public, fade the schmoes. And I think the schmoes are going to be like, oh, Broncos defense, Broncos offense equals low scoring game. That's typically the formula. That's typically the equation. And speaking of that, I did just see Bleacher Report betting tweet out about an hour ago that everyone's betting the Bills today. Everyone's betting the Bills because everyone loves the quarterback. And that's the fear. Like, if you're back in the Broncos today, the fear is that Josh Allen is going to put the Bills on his back, even though they're banged up and maybe not as complete of a team as Denver, that Josh Allen alone will will the Bills to victory.
Mark Springer, are you completely sold on Josh Allen as a top 2 current National Football League quarterback?
No. That's funny.
Really?
I'm not.
I'm not either.
Man,
I'm not either.
1 and 2, you can go in whatever order you want now. Before this season, I would have absolutely said Mahomes 1. But this season kind of changed some things for me. Now I might go Burrow 1. I would go Allen 3. I'd go Josh Allen 3.
You know who's terrifying? If you were getting ready to play the Los Angeles Rams, I would be terrified about what Matthew Stafford could do through the air with Puka Nacua and whoever the hell. I mean, they just continue to find weapons and utilize them. While I respect Josh Allen, the talent, and I think he's a dog and I love him, I'd love to coach him. Is he that guy? Well, he hasn't proven yet because he hasn't been able to summit the mountain, if you will, and he's got a big one to summit today.
Like Mahomes and Burrow have. And so, this is a huge game but I think, like, Burrow had Chase and Higgins. Mahomes had Kelsey before he got older.
But Mahomes is transcendent, right? I mean,
he's won 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah, and he's it doesn't matter what his supporting cast had been. It had been Tyreek Hill, and then Tyreek Hill's gone, and he find a way to win another one.
Andy, what were Elway's weapons like? Were they better than what Allen has right now?
I'm
talking before the 2 Super Bowls.
No.
Before Rod Smith came along.
In 97, 98, yes, he had great weapons, and that team was predicated on the running of Terrell Davis. John Elway, and this is what I wonder if Josh Allen isn't doing. John Elway, now it's hard because I know Mark Jackson a bit. He was one of my favorite players growing up. Vance Johnson, Ricky Nattiel, they were three amigos. Steve Watson was kind of the possession receiver guy, big lanky white guy that was great at making the tough catch, but wasn't anybody's speedster. What I remember about those early Super Bowl teams for Elway was once I saw a complete Super Bowl team with a good defense and Hall of Famers Steve Atwater and Neil Smith and Alfred Williams and guys like that, and Rod Smith, Ed McCaffrey, Shannon Sharp, I realized how much John Elway drug a bunch of dudes to the Super Bowl in his early going. Now, the thing about it is Josh Allen could probably do the same thing here if he needed to, and you better hope that he doesn't do that today. But I do not believe Josh Allen is playing with as a complete team as most of the other rosters are. It is funny, the reason you talk about that note from Bleacher Report about the public betting on the Bills, the reason why we all believe the Bills have a chance when you really break it down is because they have Josh Allen. Is that not really what it is at the end of the day?
Yes, but it's also to me how big their offensive line is.
Well, and we should remember James Cook is a very good back.
Like right now, I would put James Cook in the category of Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry over the last 3 years. He's got the title, man. And
that's fair enough, but does Buffalo feel like the team that dedicates itself to the run attack?
Yes. I mean, guys, he's a 1,600-plus yard rusher.
I get it,
Would you
Mike,
not love to see that?
I think
that's what they're going to try to do today, just like they did a year ago.
But they talked about it on the broadcast about how Buffalo lives behind the chains, and they're just kind of used to letting Josh Allen work his way out of chaos. Go ahead, Mark.
James Cook is excellent. I'm not sure I can put him, though, on Saquon last year. Jumping over a dude backwards.
True.
Derrick Henry, the size, the frame, can just run you over. James Cook has great speed, and he's very good. I don't know if he's that, future Hall of Fame running back, though, that I view a Henry or a Saquon
That could be our famous last words, though. This makes
all
me
it takes
nervous.
is one
Watch.
game,
We'll have
yeah.
all these Buffalo fans texting in. You didn't take James Cook seriously.
No, I'm taking him very seriously.
I still circle him as the key for the Buffalo Bills, and I think the numbers and analytics, they agree with that.
Well, no, I'll give you this. If you don't stop the run, you're not going to earn the right to rush Josh Allen. And then you don't get to hit him and get the 6+ hits that we talked about.
You want to know?
Buffalo is running all over the place, Broncos have a problem.
You want to know who James Cook reminds me of? His older brother, Dalvin.
Yeah.
Good back. Good back.
Well, Dalvin, I thought Dalvin, before the atrocious knee injury that he sustained, was beyond good back. But he had to come back, and he had to be the comeback story after a knee that went the wrong way. The thing that's crazy about James Cook at this stage of his career, and I would almost credit the insane level of depth at the University of Georgia at the running back position, because he never had to be the bell cow in college. And that's the problem with running backs. There's only so much tread on the tires. And he was, that James Cook was never the leading rusher at University of Georgia, and he's the NFL rushing title champ right now. He never led his football team in college, and that's why. But the guy's only 5'11", 190. I keep going back to that. That is a small number. Christian McCaffrey is not known as a massive back. Weighs more than 190 pounds.
Yeah, he's not fun to tackle.
But somehow, some way, James Cook not only runs through arm tackles, the guy's available. He's played in basically all but 2 games his entire career. He really is a bit of an enigma. He's a unicorn. He's a different player.
But do you really believe deep down they'll commit to it?
Yes,
they have all year. Game. When
Did
it's time to decide the game.
Oh, to decide the game, you're right. I mean, the ball's in number 17.
Isn't that kind of the problem, though, with the modern NFL? Nobody wants to lean on their run game when they could to salt the game away.
It's true.
Even the Philadelphia Eagles weren't doing it, and I would much rather trust Saquon Barkley than Jalen Hurts when it comes to that.
Did you feel like a year ago they did it, though?
Yeah, and that's why they won the Super Bowl.
It's almost like the coordinators that have been in Philadelphia that have committed to their true identity and their ethos as it should be have won Super Bowls and gotten head coaching jobs or gone to the Super Bowl.
But see, that's the funny thing. I think some of you probably know it as well as anybody. I think their offensive play callers that don't feel like the cool run plays get you the same praise that the cool passing game does.
Yeah.
Therefore, they go away from it. Now, listen, I don't think this is going to be an easy game today. We keep talking about it. I am warning Bronco fans. This is an under 2-minute decision is what we got going on. So, all right, Spring, go ahead. Give us your final prediction. Final answer.
Well, and just one more thought on why people are betting the Bills. Like every Broncos game you watch, there's not everyone, but a lot of them, you're like, how did they win that game?
Yeah, 14-17, let's be honest.
And so I think that there's just doubt with Denver. Like, oh, if I back Denver today, it's going to be a slog. There's going to be moments where, do I trust this offense? All that said, I'm picking Denver. I am. They're the more complete team. I think the defense, which has largely carried them all year, shows up big again today. And the Bills' defense is a little weak, so therefore I think that this offense moves the ball maybe a little more than we would anticipate. I'm going Denver 27, Buffalo 21.
That's very similar to my prediction.
I think the Broncos have to keep this sucker under 30 points.
I agree.
I really do.
100%.
I think we start talking about scores in the 30s. I'm not sure Denver joins Buffalo in that category with what we've seen most of the year.
The spring prediction aligns with my theory that first one to 25 or more wins the football game.
I would agree. Now, again, I would also say this. I don't think the Broncos – Vic said whoever has the ball last wins. That could very well be it.
I like the Broncos in that spot if Josh Allen has the ball.
I do, too, because I feel like that's all Bo's existed in his whole
I'm saying I like the Broncos defense in that spot
against
I'm with
Josh
Allen, especially in Empower Field, right?
Yeah, well, you would hope. Everybody's got to be in full throat and don't get down. So, all right, that was Mark Springer. You can listen to Between the Pipes. We're going to have another game tomorrow. And after that game, a little between the pipes action, there's an old school Broncos sweater going on right there. That's a beauty right there.
And that actually looks like not a recent creation of an old school sweater.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
You know what was disappointing today? I went thrifting this morning.
Yeah?
And I couldn't find one Denver Bronco item.
Well, yeah, because it's gone, man.
I tried,
You got to buy that stuff when people are down. That 2017 was your year to go thrifting for Bronco stuff. There ain't none of it available
I found some
now.
Air Force Falcons gear.
Yeah, how'd they do last year? How'd that go?
Not great. Hadn't been great for the last couple.
By the way, Joe Scott suspended indefinitely, Air Force basketball coach. I have no idea.
I saw that too.
Spring sent us the note, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's your little bit of
Spring,
Bronco news.
You got any intel on Air Force's head basketball coach?
I briefly looked at the article and something to do with his treatment of cadets.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, more to come on that, I'm sure. We're at the number 38. You got to get down here. We're in
So
RiNO.
is everybody else.
Yeah, the bar is packed, but again, do not let that discourage you from coming out. They have a huge patio, huge TVs, huge spaces to watch, a huge menu.
I was here
last year. A lot of good stuff to have.
I was here last year at the exact same time. I'll tell you this, man. I was a little nervous about coming back to the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
Of the Bills' 31-7 victory over the Denver Broncos. Vibes are very different this year.
So what a home game does to you.
It sure does. What 14-3 does to you as well.
14-3 records you didn't see coming. I don't think a lot of people saw it coming. Maybe some people did. Not me, that's for sure. We're going to come back. We're going to have our final segment. We'll get whatever final predictions are left, although I think everyone's got a pretty good idea of what we're doing. Again, if you want to send one in, 303-504-0925. I'll try to maybe read a couple of those before we get off the air. And again, we are closing in. Broncos, Bills, it's about to finally happen on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. All right, we're wrapping it up here. Mike Sanford, Andy Lindahl, live here, number 38. If you're not down here, you might be the only person not down here right now, unless you're at the stadium, because this place is packed and we love it. We're going to have a watch party after this. You can come join me and Mike. All right, anybody in the bar that has not been signed up for the Pat Surtain plaque or the helmet, we got a mini helmet. We got all sorts of stuff we're giving away that at halftime, so get over to the altitude table if you haven't done so already. And if you're hearing this, you've got until halftime to get registered. Although the register box is packed. It looks like a Chicago voting booth over there. Things are so jammed
Sure does.
up. So.
Sure does.
All right. We have been doing this all week. We did another 3 hours yesterday. We just are about to complete 2.5 hours more today.
I could do another 5, Andy.
Another 5 hours?
I just love talking about football, but actually I don't want to do another 5 because
I'm
ready
done.
to
Yeah,
I'm ready to watch this thing, man.
I'm ready
God,
for
we have broken this thing down left, right, up, down, everything in between. And at the end of the day, there's going to be 53 Buffalo Bills players on the field and 53 Denver Broncos on that field at Empower Field at Mile High that's going to decide this outcome. And that's the thing that's wild.
How about I lead you down this way? We've had this text from a lot of people, especially I think from some Buffalo fans. Why will this year be different than last year's playoff game? Positive for the Broncos.
You know, I felt last year as optimistic as I was because I was feeling the ascension of the franchise. I didn't feel like the maturity of Bo Nix, the maturity of the entire roster was to the point that it is now. And what I needed to see in 2025 in the season, I needed to see the Broncos and particularly Bo Nix answer the question, can I be the reason why my team wins a game against a legitimate team? And you know what completely changed my paradigm was the game at Philadelphia. And that game, I think, broke Philadelphia this year. It broke the offense coordinator, Kevin Patullo, who ended up getting fired. Nick Sirianni realized that he doesn't have Kellen Moore or Shane Steichen to call their way out of maybe a mess. I think that moment there gave Bo Nix the requisite confidence to feel like he can do it on a stage like today. And that's why I believe it's going to happen.
Yeah. We're still on the air, so we're going to be able to keep the show going. We got to watch that a little bit. There we go. Thank you.
How'd you do, Spring?
We like that. We're getting boos. The Buffalo Bills are entering the field. There you go. Now you know how we feel about it, number 38. Yes. Do you think Sean knows his team better this year than he did a year ago? Because let's be honest, last year was his first year with that group.
I think that Sean knows his team so well that he gave us 2 absolute stinkers of offensive performances in the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I don't think he was sandbagging. I don't think coaches do that. But I think he made a conscientious decision as the play caller that I'm just going to give this team what it needs to get those 2 victories against the Chiefs and the Chargers with backup quarterbacks. And that's why I'm excited about today. Because anytime that I've thought that Bo Nix or Sean Payton look like a tandem that isn't destined to do anything significant, about the 3rd or 4th week, they do something massive. I think this is a legacy-defining moment for Sean Payton's career. Because I worry about the direction it goes if he goes 1-5 in his last 6 postseason games.
All right.
I worry. Because it's hard to get back to this spot. It's hard to get back to 13 days of rest and playing in your own building with a very healthy roster. So I think Sean Payton's he's going to step up, and he's going to deliver in the moment. He's delivered all year in the moment as it relates to game management and winning the game. I think he's going to deliver today as an offensive play caller.
Who is the greatest candidate? With Caleb Lohner off, if you guys missed it, both Elijah and Caleb Lohner, we were having a lot of fun talking about because all of a sudden they were elevated to the active roster, but they are not active today. They are no longer practice squatters, but they are not active players here on a playoff Saturday for the Denver Broncos. Who would be the top candidate for surprise offensive star today? Because, again, I think it may take one.
I got one for you.
Is it Troy Franklin, kind of the repeat star from a year ago? Is it Eli and not Eli? Is it Jaleel McLaughlin?
I don't fully trust beginning to end in a game. I don't fully trust Troy Franklin. I think he is exactly what he's proven to be in 2 years. He's a highlight reel player.
Okay.
He's not a bell
Consistent,
cow.
right.
You know who's the guy that I think is one of the biggest dogs in terms of his makeup on this roster?
Pat Bryant.
Pat Bryant. I think Pat Bryant's going to do something today. Pretty significant. Whether it's a game-clinching third down conversion that allows the Broncos to run the clock out and knee the football in front of an absolutely ballistic bananas and power field crowd. Pat Bryant's a dog. And I questioned it because of the 40 time. What I learned about Pat Bryant as the season went on as a blocker, as a critical, like big time, big play catcher of the football. That's one of your him and Cortland Sutton to me are two of your more important players today.
Out of the tunnel come the Denver Broncos, and number 38 is reacting. You can hear it's going to be a fun environment in here.
The Broncos!
Yeah, if you, I wonder if Jim Nance gave it a good yell. Boy, they really followed Josh. They pretty much followed Josh Allen from the time he pulled up his old slacks there, his football slacks, out onto the field. Now Josh is getting booed as he's the sole focus of the TV.
He looks a little bit neck fat today.
Really?
I think he had a few of those, Rocky Mountain Waters, the ones in the yellow bellies.
When you look at how badly he got beat up, he might have needed to just to get into the old uniform today. So we were about ready to get this one underway in a number of minutes. All right, final score for you finally.
Well, for me, it's going to be the Denver Broncos are going to win 28-24. The Broncos are going to find a way to reach pay dirt 4 times offensively. And I think that Bo Nix is going to lead the drive to win the game with time expiring.
And you think we get an aggressive first drive here, or what is your guess?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a balanced first drive.
You're going for about a 10-play drive, though, right? The Broncos today need to possess the ball.
I'm going with I'm going to go with an opening series touchdown for the Denver Broncos at home.
Really?
To absolutely set off in power field.
Okay. Are we talking about a big play, or are we just methodical?
Methodical, clean. Sean Payton, he was in his bag, and he put together an elite script.
What's been your favorite moment of this season so far as we sit here? And I mean, again, we've talked out this game as much as we can.
Eagles
was the game for you?
That was it. I mean, everybody talked about the New York Giants.
Green Bay.
See,
Green Bay, I get it. You've got some attachments there. But honestly, in Green Bay, like, again, I think we need that level of comfort out of Bo Nix. I think we need that level of just kind of free playing.
The Micah Parsons injury in that game felt like a complete turning point for both the Green Bay Packers season and even the Broncos in that game. And so there was a bit of an asterisk by that one. I didn't feel like there was any asterisk at Philadelphia at that time when Philly was an undefeated football team. That was Bo Nix saying, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go and I'm going to play in one of the most intimidating buildings against the defending Super Bowl champions, and I'm going to go deliver the goods. That was the moment for me.
Well, they're lining up. We're going to have a rendition of the national anthem, and then we're going to kick this sucker off. We're going to be ready to go. See, for me, I'm telling you, I think the Green Bay game was fun. I do understand what you say when they lost a couple of people. Didn't really, when Christian Watson went out, it didn't quite become the same test that I think we all thought it was going to be at the time. But I'm telling you, where Bo Nix showed me there's a little something to this kid is that Giants game.
Yeah.
And again, that's why I don't feel afraid for them on this big stage like I did a year ago, because they've stared down. Let's be honest about it. They've had a lot of adversity at home this year. This has not been a team that got to 14 wins because everything went their way and teams missed field goals and constantly turned the ball. They were down a number of times. And in that Giants game, the Giants kept answering some of their early momentum-grabbing plays till we got to the point where they finally got back into that thing and they won. And I'm telling you, even if there's 2 or 3 minutes left, if Bo has the ball, I feel real good about it.
I
don't think he'll shrink their moment at all, and I don't think the team will either.
You
just got to get to that point.
And you have to add a sneaky memory from this season that nobody at the time would have said this is a significant moment. The only Broncos victory from the 2025 season, all 14 of them, that was against a team currently in the playoffs was what game?
Help me out.
At Houston.
Oh, there you go. I forgot
and remember
about
that? And everybody says, well, you didn't beat C.J. Stroud. Well, guess what? You did. You knocked him out of the football game. And you know what? That game didn't necessarily follow any type of explosive script. But against a playoff team that's here in the divisional round, that had an unbelievable opening game and won 30-6 at Pittsburgh, that's your one defining moment of the 2025 season.
Yeah, and you know what? You traded punches. You played an ugly game. They played a few ugly games. They found a way to get a win. They weren't worried about constantly having big leads. All right. It's finally time. We're going to shut up and watch some football. We will all be back with you to talk about it on Monday. Don't forget to catch Mile High Post Game Live. Vic Lombardi, Mike Sanford, Rachel V. Hill, DMac will be on there. We'll all be chatting with you. Thank you to everybody out here, number 38. Let's hope we have a really great, fun afternoon ahead of us, folks. We appreciate everybody out here, and stick around. If you're already here, halftime prizes to give away. All right, let's play some football. We'll talk to you Monday. Thanks for joining us on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.